perfection. Pay attention. You never will. I will overanalyze and fall victim. But when I'm lowest, time to get to know myself. I'm still tangled, I'm not worried, 'cause I am caught up in this perfection. Pay attention, yeah, you never will. 'Cause you depend, so you always will. If you arrest yourself again, I'll help you clean up the mess. I wonder if you ever did, yeah. I wonder if you ever did like I did. I wonder if you ever did, yeah. I wonder if you ever did like I did. Just wanna be free, yeah. Free, yeah. Free, yeah. Free, yeah. Can I make something good out of this? Can I make something good out of this? Chances are you will not be missed, 'cause you don't give a shit. Can I make something good out of this? You could be late, you could be true, you could be underneath my shoe. Sometimes you're the only one who's strong, and I'll be devastated if I'm wrong. I am the one you love to hate, but you cannot devastate. It will be interesting, I'm sure, 'cause I want more. Can I make something good out of this? Can I pretend that something is missing? Chances are you will not be missed, 'cause you don't give a shit. Can I make something good out of this? You will be late, you could be too, you could be underneath my shoe. Sometimes you're the only one who's strong, and I'll be devastated if I'm wrong. I am the one you love to hate, but you cannot devastate.
Want more. Want more from you, yeah. Let's go. I want more from you, yeah, more. I want more from you, yeah. What up, guys? I want more. Yo, 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 yo. Dude, how we doing? Let's go! Oh! Dude, what day is it today? Is it Monday? Monday night? Anything like I need you.
It's over.
Do you need
Anything like I need you.
Monday? Good news? What's the good news?
I've got no place to be alone, my friend.
He cut his wrist instead.
There's your answer. You better save yourself. Oh,
Tuesday for you? Yeah, it's not Tuesday for me yet.
I would rather be in hell than regret.
Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Oh, do you need anything like I need you?
No, I do.
Let's go. Oh,
Denial. These are not my words. Tell me where am I? Most of the time, wet my face with reality and permit me to breathe.
before I do it again, do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Do you need anything like I need you? Do you need anything like I need you? It's over. Let's go. Cheers. Power up. It's time to wake up. Fucking 10 p.m. Jesus. Do you need anything like I need you? Oh, the whole.
Do you need anything like I need you?
Let's go. All right. All right.
Anything like
dude. How we doing? It's a good song, isn't it? I really like it. It's weird because obviously the switch to YouTube complicated what we were going to do musically, because when I was streaming on Twitch, I had a different playlist because you're allowed to listen to music that doesn't go to the VOD. So it's a different experience. So I had to find music that we could listen to that wouldn't like ping the copyright. And I'm going to get my other stuff too, like Let Go After Going Failure in here this year as well. But I had not listened to any of this old music in like forever. And I went back and listened to it and I was like, God damn, dude. There was some really good music at that time. And so what's really interesting about that music, about the stuff we're listening to now, is it's transition, okay? It is, I mean, I had a like an extended period of making music with my band 𝗙𝗪𝗏, and then after 𝗙𝗪𝗏 ended, I made that full-blown Red record, and then I moved to Portland, and then everything fell apart, and then, you know, number 3 breakdown happened. It was all kind of the transition from 𝗙𝗪𝗏 to the Wanted, to my one-man indie rock band, which was like where I tasted the most success. Dude, Ella, let's go! Let's get it, boss! Let's get it, boss. Glad to be here with everyone. Let's go, Ella. Thank you, kicking us off in amazing fashion. Thank you, boss. Let's fucking go. Yo, 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 yo. Dude, let's go. I saw another one in here, dude, with MLV. Let's go. Oh, shit. We got a lemon playing. Is that a lemon with maracas? Or are those like pink ice cream cones? I can't tell. Maybe they're both. They're maracas made of ice cream cones. Ah. All right. So I fucking slept a good chunk of the day. I did go see the movie, The Moment, the Charlie XCX movie. It was highly entertaining. Can I just say? Highly entertaining. Oh, man. Dude, yeah, I did. I saw some of you talking about Zorro. I know there's like, they've been working on that, on getting that searched, getting it looked at. I mean, it's good news. It like still deeply bothers me that nobody searched that place in the past. You know what I'm saying? That is the thing. I mean, the thing among things when we get into this shit is I can't believe that residence did not get like completely overhauled and inventoried and searched, et cetera, you know, back when he was originally arrested. It's just insane. It is just insane that the guy had 3 major continental U.S. residences and they only searched 2 of them, right? And this one like had an airstrip and a helipad, and they didn't go out there. I mean, New Mexico tried. They were going to go out there, and then the FBI said, no. We got this. Stand down. We're taking it. And then they just bagged it. They just completely shelved it. The FBI, during Trump's administration, New Mexico, I know New Mexico is going to search it, but it is, you know, it's like 4 years, you know. Anne-Marie, let's go. Let's go. We got a groovy pair. It's like 4 years late, you know. I mean, 7 years after the incident. And I mean, it was sold in 2023. So, you know, you live 35 minutes away. Do you live in Santa Fe Tuesday night? Dude, it's crazy. It is just crazy. And it was absolutely intentional. Okay. It was absolutely intentional. You know, like 100% intentional. You know, it's just, I don't know, dude. It just boggles my mind. It boggles my mind because like there's so, you know what I'm saying? Like the feds said they would search it. And then like, I don't know. I guess New Mexico just went on with the rest of their business, assuming it was going to get searched, but nobody followed up. And, you know, I mean, Maureen Comey and SDNY did an entire trial of Ghislaine Maxwell, and they never thought, we should probably look at this. You know what I'm saying? And yes, helicopters do not list who is on them. And in fact, when small planes land at like airstrips like that, if there's no tower, small planes don't list as well. I mean, they do when they like use an airport, but dude, it's crazy. It is just crazy. You know, it's just wild. I mean, there's, you know, and considering how much of this case revolves around like video, revolves around missing computers and hard drives, which when they searched Palm Beach, hard drives and computers were missing. Adriana Ross had hustled some shit out. So we're talking, you know, a lot of missing items, and there's this huge property. And I mean, it's huge. It is huge. Okay. And so, yeah, I don't know. It still rubs me the wrong way. You know, every time I dig into this, I get really irate about it. Now, I do want to start off with this clip of Trump. Okay. Because this clip of Trump is today. Okay. Like, look at this dude. He's on the plane again. Right. And look at what he says, dude. I have been exonerated. Dude, like, oh my God, what world is he living in? You know what I'm saying? Dude, exonerated. All right, let's watch it. This will get the juices flowing, bro.
So Hillary Clinton said in an interview today that she and her husband are getting pulled into the Epstein matter to divert attention from you, and that your administration has something to hide. What's your response to that?
I have nothing to hide. I've been exonerated. I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. They went in hoping that they'd find it and found just the opposite. I've been totally exonerated. In fact, Jeffrey Epstein was fighting that I don't get elected with some author, a sleazebag, by the way. And I've been totally exonerated. No, they're getting pulled in, and that's their problem. I don't know, they're going to have to see what happens. But I watched her in Munich, and she seriously has Trump derangement syndrome.
Do you think that she should publicly testify?
You know, I've been totally exonerated on Epstein, and it's really interesting because they've been pulled in. Think of it. They've been pulled in. Clinton and many other Democrats have been pulled in, yeah.
Dude, how many times did he say exonerated in that? I have been exonerated. I've been exonerated. They've been pulled in. They've been pulled in. I have been exonerated. I have been exonerated. I've been exonerated. They've been pulled in. They've been pulled in. I have been exonerated. I have. Right? Dude. Oh my God. What world does this guy live in that he has been exonerated? Like, wow. See, there was something, can I just tell you, there was somebody earlier today in a comment, some random, maybe a bot. I don't know if they're a real human. But so I've been tweeting about this today. I've been tweeting about Trump and Elon all day, tweeting about the emails and the timelines. And a lot of people have been coming in and responding to this shit. And I want to show you this one thing right here. Okay, because this one right here, okay, this is probably a bot, right? I don't know. It's hard to tell with these. I assume most of these are bots, but sometimes I reply to them anyway. But want you to look at this. Okay? Because one of the things we're overlooking here, and you know, there's a lot going on. There is a lot of information. There's a lot of stuff is just coming at us fast. Okay. I'm sure you feel it. I feel it. Like I'm spending, you know, a little bit of every day just looking through these files, but there are so many of them and they're in no appreciable order and everybody's looking at them in their own way. So you have like disparate pieces of information just coming randomly every day. You never know what you're going to get, right? Because there's like 5 million files and there's 10,000, 20,000 people just hunting through these every day. So it is like, yeah, noisy noise is a great way of putting it. But one of the things that gets overlooked is in this email where obviously I made a video about this today, about the timeline, like Trump is trying to use a timeline built on lies to exonerate himself, right? But one of the core tenets that people keep saying, and this is not the only person to say it, is they say, Virginia says Trump never heard her, okay? That is a constant refrain from these people is Virginia says Trump never heard her. But guys, like, right? Trump knew she was trafficked out of Mar-a-Lago. And he never went to the cops. He never told anyone. He never did anything. He never helped her. She worked at the spa. Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell came in and they plucked her out. Trump knew about it. They paid off her father, who worked at Mar-a-Lago. And then 6 years later, supposedly, after Epstein's been arrested, Trump calls up the cops and says, oh, it's a good thing you got him. Like he was real dirty and Ghislaine's evil, right? So he did hurt her, okay? Even if he never physically abused her, he literally let her get trafficked out of his club and he did nothing about it. He did nothing. He didn't call the cops. He didn't let her parents know that she was trafficked, that they should call the cops. He did nothing, guys. And in fact, 3 years later, okay, 3 years later, they sent spa attendants to Jeffrey Epstein's house to perform massages at his house. So like, yeah, he hurt her, okay? I'm sorry that Virginia Giuffre didn't like see that as a problem, but Virginia Giuffre had a lot of struggles, okay? Had a lot of struggles. You know what I'm saying? She did. She was definitely beat up. She had a lifetime of this kind of abuse, and I don't think she ever recovered, even after she got away. But if you work at a job and you know somebody sex trafficked one of the people you worked with, a coworker or one of your employees, you would call the cops, okay? You would do something. You would not just be like, oh yeah, one of my friends sex trafficked her. She's going to the island now. She's going right to the ranch. And like, but whatevs, let's just hire a new spa worker. Like, come on, dude. You know? And so this is like laughable to me because I sort of laid into them, right? And I'm like, dude, that is the very definition of hurting her. You know what I'm saying? That is the very definition of hurting her. And dude, I see somebody in chat saying relative. No, you are incorrect, boss. You are incorrect. I think this type of stuff, the bystanders doing nothing is almost like doubly harmful than the people that are actually abusing the person. Okay? Because the abusers are fucking absolutely harming the person but everybody that is knowing it's happening and doing nothing is total mind fuck. And it leaves the person with even more damage. Even more damage. If you think that that's better, you are so fucked. You are absolutely screwed. It is like so much more damaging to have somebody know and have somebody not fucking reach out and do something. It is brutal. It is brutal. It is what makes like the inner family stuff so problematic. You know what I'm saying? All Virginia Giuffre said is that Trump didn't sexually abuse her. And of course he didn't. You know, of course he didn't sexually abuse her. Her fucking dad worked at his club. Like, she was the last girl of Epstein that Trump would have essayed. Okay, there's no chance that Trump would have essayed somebody who was the daughter of one of his longtime employees. I mean, that's a no-brainer, guys. For people to act like that exonerates Trump, like, give me a fucking break, dude. I mean, Trump's not an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Trump is not an idiot, right? He is absolutely not an idiot, right? I misunderstood you. All right. Well, I think we're all straight now. Now you know. Let's go. Dude, let's go. Dude, but Virginia never said, like, she never fucking, like, walked around just being like Trump was a fucking angel. I don't know where people are getting that shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where people are getting that shit. You know, this idea. I mean, a lot of it is probably bot traffic, and they're scrambling, guys. Okay? They are like scrambling, I mean, to make anything look like it's beneficial to Trump. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and dude, it's been, right? It has been like crazy what's going on around this stuff right now. I mean, I don't know if you guys have been looking for the last couple of days with what's been going on with Elon Musk. Like, Elon has been sort of having a fucking meltdown, right? Have you guys seen this? So Elon, all of a sudden, he's got a lot of attention, okay? He's got a lot of attention, like, centered around him because he is in the center of this thing, okay? Elon is like deep. Deep. His mentions are fucking, you know, like Elon has more mentions in the Epstein files than Bill Clinton does. You know what I'm saying? He is like deep in there, okay? And not only that, but there are a lot of mentions of email having gone to the mansion in New York City. I still believe that he went to the island. I do. I still believe that Elon went to the island. I think that there's I would be very, very, like, shocked if it turned out that Elon did not go to that island. Okay? I'm just telling you, right? It is, let me see if I had saved this one thing that we got. I guess we don't. Hold on. I think it was in the replies. So the hold on. We're gonna dig in here, right? Oh, Elon. All right. I mean, dude, look at what he's doing now. There is like a coordinated campaign. I swear to you guys, there is an absolute like there has been a coordinated campaign with Elon in the last handful of days. Now, somebody in chat a little while ago said they feel like something big is coming. I think the same, guys. There's a rather significant astrological event happening tomorrow that, ushering in the year of the horse and, equinox or whatever, solstice, like new moon or something. There's like some big shit. Like tomorrow is like center of like a new sort of chapter. And I don't know, it feels like something is building. Okay. And for a number of reasons. I mean, think about what has happened this week. Okay. So this week alone, just in this last week, a bunch of like loose ends have started to resolve. Okay. Congress started seeing unredacted material. Okay. There was a situation where Thomas Massey mentioned a couple names on the House floor that were part of a lineup, but like the DOJ had set him up. He had even suggested that maybe these guys were part of a lineup. He asked the DOJ about it. They didn't mention anything, and it all blew up, right? Because the DOJ is kind of like trying to set us up. Okay, Trump's DOJ. You had Pam Bondi, like blazing liar. Just, that press conference was such a disaster where she was like not answering questions, getting all fake huffy. And then I think one of the most significant things is finding out about Don Huffines, the guy who bought Zorro Ranch. And you have New Mexico, convening together and trying to get that place searched. Okay. All of that happened in like the last week, right? And there was, a lot of talk about Elon sort of building to a fever pitch. And we're seeing a complete picture here that pretty much everybody that is in the, billionaire world right now is essentially tied to this guy. And that if you follow a map of all the people closely tied to Epstein, okay, if you follow all the people closely tied to Epstein, you're going to end up at Donald Trump, okay, when all is said and done. All right. You're going to end up at Donald Trump. That is like, that's what we're learning here. Like, it all comes back to Donald, even though he insists he's been exonerated. They are the Trump files. But so let's look at Elon really quick, okay? Because Elon obviously has been deeply implicated in the Epstein situation, all right? And it started with Elon with his, dude, this is crazy. Dude, like what is, all right, so it started obviously with his emails about going to the island, right? Right? I mean, so let's process where Elon is coming from, okay? Because Elon's manipulating Twitter, all right? I don't know if you guys have seen this, but I have definitely seen it for the last couple of days where Twitter has been manipulated, okay? It has been a very conscious manipulation. Like, so first off, Elon did not talk about, Epstein at all, really, during the campaign, okay? He did not. Elon did not mention Epstein at all during the campaign, right? He was focused on Doge, right? He was focused on the idea of like getting rid of the fraud. He was really after USAID, okay? But the only real mention of Elon that showed about Epstein was the one while they were investigating, which was this bombshell, okay? He did. He said, time to drop the really big bomb. Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they've not been made public. Have a nice day. And then mark this post for the future. The truth will come out. Now, this, of course, we all remember this. This was, dude, 𝗙ście𝗶𝗶𝗍𝗏 was on Joe Rogan when this shit hit, remember? And Joe was like, oh my God, someone needs to take away Elon's phone, right? I mean, dude, think about that. Think about that being Joe Rogan's reaction, right? Elon outs Trump in the files and Rogan's like, they need to take Elon's phone, right? And then Cash, the head of the FBI, mind you, the guy that's sitting on all of these files, said, it's not my lane. I'm not getting involved. I have nothing to say about this. Like, bro, isn't that crazy? You know what I'm saying? Isn't that like, that is just mind-blowing, okay? That is mind-blowing that all of those guys, like, are just, you know, tick a lot, boss. There was nobody saying anything. And look at this. This is June 5th. And this is literally right when they were like flipping. Okay. They had 1,000 FBI agents looking for Trump's name everywhere in the files. And then all of a sudden they came out at the end of that process and Pam Bondi is like, you know what? There is nothing here. And 𝗙ście𝗶𝗶𝗍's like, there's nothing here. And Dan Bongino was like, it was a suicide and there is no list. And everyone's like, what are you doing? And then Trump comes out and says, it's a hoax. Dude, like, what are we talking about? Okay. So, but then Elon, he silently deleted this and he went right back in Trump's corner. Okay. Which is crazy. Like, think about that, guys. Think about, you know, he gives Trump $290 million to get him in office, pulls all kinds of sneaky shit. He drops this bombshell, then he quietly deletes it and goes back into all my financial support is going into Donald Trump. Now, the minute he did that, we knew something was up, okay? I mean, we knew that, like, he was making some investigations of SpaceX and Tesla and all that disappear, right? But, like, dude, that already happened. That shit's, like, done and gone. You know, his future support of Trump is, you know, all right, what are you getting out of it, Elon? And now I think what he's getting out of it is he's getting out of it, you know, trying to make sure the Democrats don't take the House to make sure all this shit goes away. But even then, we didn't hear much about Elon until we started seeing these emails, okay? Now, one of these things here is right? Elon, okay, is in the orbit. Elon is mentioned in the emails. Epstein, Elon is coming to lunch at the house, okay? Epstein flew and toured SpaceX, and Elon forgot about that. He didn't remember that Jeffrey Epstein toured SpaceX, okay? Like, dude, that's insane, right? Like, come on, man. You know what I mean? There's no way, okay? There's no way. Dude, Elon does a lot of ketamine. Ketamine does not make you lose your memory, okay? Ketamine is not, he is not like in the midst of blackouts, okay? The ketamine does not affect your memory at all right? We have other elements where we see Elon and Zuckerberg at this event with Epstein. Epstein fucking, this is in 2015. So there's a lot of contact here. This is not one meeting, okay? Musk is visiting Epstein at his mansion. Musk, emailed him for weeks about going to the island, okay? Right? Musk is at dinners with other people with Epstein, right? I mean, dude, this is like deep contact. He absolutely remembered Epstein going to SpaceX, okay? There's no way he didn't. He had many meetings with this guy, okay? These guys, this is not you're not forgetting this shit, okay? You are not forgetting this shit. Again, I think he went to the island, guys. I do. I think he went to the island, okay? And what's more is all of these other people are involved in Trump's admin. Like, dude, it's like half of his fucking cabinet and inner circle is involved in this shit, okay? Right? But anyway, so this started blowing up, guys. This was just, 2 weeks ago. The BBC News posted they used his photo in this article, right? Where they said, who is in the Epstein files? Okay. Right. So, dude, this has been blowing up around him, specifically around the island. Okay. Right. Look at let's see what we got here. Right. Let me see if I can find the island ones. All right. And we know that there's an Elon and a Peter Thiel connection, right? Oh yeah. Here it is, right? This is the one. Do you have any parties planned? I've been working to the edge of sanity this year, and so once my kids head home after Christmas, I really want to hit the party scene in St. Bart's or elsewhere and let loose. The invitation is much appreciated, but a peaceful island experience is the opposite of what I'm looking for. All right, now look at him, though. Look at what he said. This was, a couple weeks ago where he's responding to this shit, okay? And he is, right, accusing Elon of attending the parties. Elon says, I have never been to an Epstein party ever, and blah, okay? But here's the problem. The problem is in those emails, Elon harped about parties. Okay, remember? Let's find the wild party one, shall we? Let's find that one, dude. I mean, dude, there's at least one party where I know he was at. It was the one with Sergey Brin. It was, but look at this right here. Look at that. Probably just Tallulah and me. What day night will be the wildest party on your island? Okay, right? And again, this is the one. How many people will you be for the heli to the island? So again, the heli means you're coming in and nobody's gonna know you're here. Okay, then what night will be the wildest party? Okay, so my point being is Elon knew what the wild parties were. Okay, he knew that there were wild parties, aka like many guys and many girls, right? He knew about it. He knew about the wild parties. I mean, dude, Epstein doesn't drink. Okay, Epstein doesn't do drugs. Epstein was like, and neither did Trump. Okay, they were not drinkers, so they were not having these wild alcohol parties. They had sex parties. Okay, always. That was always the thing. But so what's interesting about this is Elon sort of hammered away at this wild parties thing, and then eventually Epstein just shut him down and was like, oh, I can't make it or whatever. And then what ended up happening, guys, is you notice there were no more emails after that. And that, I feel like, is the biggest clue, okay? That is the biggest clue, that Elon was like, I want a party. I want a wild party. When are you having the wild parties? Elon was all jazzed, a whole bunch of emails. And then Epstein says, oh, I can't make it. You know, I'm going to be busy that weekend. And then there was like no more conversation. Okay. And that, guys, is a really big clue. Okay. Because normally what would have happened is Elon would have continued like trying to arrange his visit. At some point, he would have said, oh, I'm in St. Bart's again. Can we get it together this trip? But he didn't. He literally had very little contact with him after that. It was like several years before there was another email. And that's why I think somebody spoke to him. Okay, somebody explained to Elon, yo, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, the whole point of the wild parties is you don't type about them in 50 different emails, you dumb shit. Like shut the fuck up. If you, right, everybody knows about the parties, but we don't want you like harping away at it in every email you send. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, maybe there's others that show the connection, but the fact that they released it like this, you know, with no more contact is pretty fucking strange, okay? It's pretty strange because either they're hiding something or there was nothing else in there from Elon and he got spoken to. But either way, if they were hiding something, that's damning as well. But I'm telling you this, like, this type of shit is why Epstein canceled. Because you notice, like, everybody spoke in code, okay? Everybody spoke in code, right? Hey, boss, did you see Kyle's vid earlier? Trump's concentration camps build incinerators. Put in React on stream in the Discord if I haven't. I haven't seen it, right? And I'll check it out tomorrow. I'll take a look at it. Thank you, right? Appreciate that, Ella. Let's go. I've seen a bunch of shit. You know, right? I just normally, just so you guys know, right? Dude, thank you, right? I have not watched it and I will try to watch it. But normally with the thing, like, and I know I've said this before, like if there's a thing about like incinerators or something, like normally I want like the source material, right? Which means like I want a link, like I want to get links not necessarily to Kyle's video on a topic. I want to get links to whatever thing is in Kyle's video that he is covering, right? Because you know what I'm saying? It is like, because I don't want to be covering other people's coverage, right? You know what I'm saying? And what's more, it's really interesting. Sometimes I try to stay untainted by the way other people are covering it, right? Because if I watch whatever Kyle divined from the material, that's like taking away my own ability to discover what I'm getting from fresh eyes, right? Which is really hard, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of reporters do this too. Like a good example is Julie K. Brown. When she was investigated Epstein, she didn't read any of the news articles other people were writing about Epstein because she didn't want to taint her, like, right? Because other people, if you look at what they're writing or you're listening to their breakdown, you are then like maybe taking an angle, your freedom to have your own angle gets tainted, right? You know what I mean? It's like, it's an interesting process, you know? So, but you can still put shit in there, you know what I'm saying? But mostly I want to get pointed at the source material, right? That's most helpful because I like to go in like not having had somebody's viewpoint already. You know what I'm saying? It's real easy to get tainted by other people's viewpoints. But so yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so I think what's interesting about Elon, okay, is Elon initially, okay, Elon initially said, right, that Epstein tried to get him to the island and he repeatedly refused. Okay, remember? That was Elon's original take. Let's see if we can find that. Let's see if we can find that original one. Okay, here's what he said. You ready? Okay. In an email, Elon Musk responded. This was about Epstein connections. He said, I don't recall introducing Epstein to anyone, as I don't know the guy well enough to do so. Epstein is obviously a creep, and Zuckerberg is not a friend of mine. Several years ago, I was at his house in Manhattan for about 30 minutes in the middle of the afternoon with Tallulah, as she was curious about meeting this strange person for a novel she was writing. We did not see anything inappropriate at all, apart from weird art. He tried repeatedly to get me to visit his island. I declined. A Musk spokesperson also emailed, Elon never introduced Jeffrey Epstein to Mark Zuckerberg, does not know either person well enough to do so. They simply happened to be guests at a neuroscience dinner organized by Reid Hoffman. So this was Elon's original statement, guys. Okay? And it was that Epstein tried to get him to the island and he declined. Okay? Perfect. Dude, thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. And he declined. Okay? That is like, guys, that is pretty damning when you see what actually happened with Elon. I'll be in St. Bart's. When should we head to your island? When can I come to the island? When's your wildest party? Yeah, he even blamed it on his woman. Oh, she was curious about meeting this novel guy. But do you also notice that Elon's story is just like Howard Lutnick's? I went there once. I was there 30 minutes. It was obvious he was a creep, yada, yada, yada. And he says, you know, we didn't see anything inappropriate apart from weird art. But the weird art, guys, remember 1,700 photos of underage people without, you know, disrobed? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not weird art, guys. That is like, yo, homie, why is this 𝗙cie𝗶𝗹𝗆 on your walls there, boss? Right? That, you know, weird art. That's one way of putting it. Like, okay. Isn't that crazy? Dude, that shit is nuts. Okay? That shit is nuts. But then we see the truth is very, very different. Very different. And then ultimately Epstein says, bad news. Unfortunately, my schedule will keep me in New York. I was really looking forward to spending some time together with just fun as the agenda. So I am very disappointed. Hopefully we can schedule another time in the near future. Now, the thing that's really weird about this too, guys, that I thought was weird is this feels like a very, I don't know. Doesn't it feel like a not Epstein response? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you notice most of Epstein's responses are like jagged. They're run-ons. There's hardly a complete sentence. You know, he responds with like a couple of words because he's literally sending like hundreds of emails, right? But this one is like, oh, you know, yeah, this one is like a paragraph to this guy. It is, you know, like, oh, unfortunately, I'm in New York. I was really looking forward to hanging out with fun. I'm so very disappointed, you know. Oh shit, maybe we'll do it again sometime, right? I don't know. It just seems like a weird, I don't know, a weirdly stilted response. Okay, you know what I mean, right? Bad news. Oh, bad news. I don't know. This is what made me think, guys, that like somebody like told Elon like, yo, you need to zip it. No more talk about the parties in the email. No more, you know what I'm saying? No more talk about like, you know, coming and raging on my island and like wink, wink. No more of this shit, you know? But so this sort of set the stage for this, okay? Right? This set the stage for this, you know, and right? And, you know, obviously he was trying to get there. Dude, Elon, the wildest party, you know? Like, dude, that is pretty funny. But anyway, so back to our point here, okay? Is Elon over the last couple of days has been having a fucking meltdown. All right. And routinely, guys, at the top of this search results, okay, it looks like now there's other shit filling up here. But at the top of this search results for the last couple of days were news items about Elon saying Elon is exonerated. Elon has been discovered to be like not mentioned in this. It has been an onslaught of the news item has been about Elon not being part of this thing. Let me see if I fucking saved one, right? If I saved any of these. Even when it wasn't really trending, okay? Even when it wasn't really trending, this was, and let's look in here because he started retweeting stuff. Okay, let's go back and look at his timeline. All right. And then he started doing this, which is like showing him celebrating like being a dad. Okay. So that's like twofold. On the one hand, he's got Twitter saying Elon's been exonerated. Reid Hoffman is mentioned 2,000 times. Elon's been exonerated. And then there's just a bunch of like fake pictures of like kids, okay, right? And, you know, over and over again. By the way, right here, look at this. When it says a dog successfully registered to vote in California, I believe the dog was registered Republican. Just this whole Nick Shirley story that they're leaving out, the animal was registered as a Republican, okay? Just for the record, okay? They're all leaving that out. That the dog was not registered as a Democrat. The dog was registered as a Republican. All right. Just so you know. All right. Hold on. Let's get in here. Oh, shit. Let's find his melting down. Elon spends no time with his kids, guys. None. He has 14 kids. He never spends any time with his kids. Okay? All right? Dude, oh my God, he's retweeting Valentina Gomez. Oh shit. Yeah. Yeah, he spends no time with his kids, right? Even here, look at him. He's like looking at him. He's like, oh, yeah, I think that guy's mine. Like what I said today is I bet Elon's kids, I bet half of them could not even pick him out of a photo lineup. If you had a photo lineup and we're like, who's your dad? The kids would be like, I don't know. I don't recognize any of these guys. Right? Dude, You know what I'm saying? Fucking, right? She recognizes none of these guys. Oh, man, dude. All right, let's get in here. Come on, Elon. Where are you at? Where are you at, boss? Oh, dude. He is such a like a chaos maker. Okay? Elon is. Like what a chaos maker this guy is. Dude, he's a terrible father. And you know what's fucked up is I feel like people, MAGA people are willing to excuse it because he has a bunch of money. They think if a dad just brings a whole bunch of money that they're automatically, that's good. But like, dude, all that does is create like fucking, you know, entitled, wealthy brats with emotional issues that have a lot of money to spend, okay? Which is hugely damaging, you know? But so look at this. Like every tweet now is like Doge designer writing about Elon being a parent and Elon retweeting this, okay? And then look at what he says here. He says, right, you know, where they're sitting there talking about it, and Elon says, don't believe what you read in the media. I spent every moment I could with them, and everyone who knows me knows this, for they see me with my kids whenever they see me. Like, dude, what is he talking about, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he'll take one kid to like Mar-a-Lago when there's a camera there and shit, but mostly he sits in his office sleeping on the floor, you know? I mean, dude, he doesn't do shit with his kids, okay? Now he's posting weird AI slavery shit. Like, that's another thing he likes to do, is he likes to defend slavery. But let's get in here and find his freakouts about the Epstein stuff, where he's freaking out about Reid Hoffman, okay? Right here. So here it is. Here's where it's coming in, okay? All right? And this is where it started. It was on Valentine's Day, and it started with the Reid Hoffman thing, okay? And what's wild about this, guys, is if you look at it, like Elon has as many, I think Elon's actually 1,400 mentions, okay? But Elon has more, like equal to or more mentions thus far in these files as Bill Clinton does. And Bill Clinton's getting called in for the oversight committee, okay? But Elon is not, okay? Elon was bartering to get to that island. And now there has been an influx of this type of material, right? Where, you know, there are these accounts. There's Emus, there's Wall Street Apes, there's Doge Designer. These are like the fringe right-wing accounts that are in the sort of pro-Elon, pro-MAGA world. But look at what it says. It says it's all coming out. LinkedIn billionaire Reid Hoffman's name appears 2,600 times. Elon Musk was right. The Biden admin was letting top Democrat donors and Epstein clients sponsor DOJ investigations. Dude, there's no evidence of this whatsoever. Okay, Musk reveals the SpaceX lawsuit was funded by Reid Hoffman, right? Think about that. Democrats let their donors use our law enforcement to target their enemies. Elon Musk explains the SpaceX DOJ investigation went on for years, yada, yada, yada. Okay, and then the plot thickens. It's just so blatant. It's so obvious. Okay, so now, again, he's trying to sort of rewrite history with his investigations, the same way that Trump is trying to rewrite the 2020 election and Russia and, you know, his stealing of the classified files, et cetera, et cetera. So all of this has been getting pumped, like Reid Hoffman, okay? Reid Hoffman, right? And right here, here's another one. Epstein files, the red flags exposed around LinkedIn billionaire Reid Hoffman. His name appears 2,600 times in the files. Let's break down why. Okay. Reid Hoffman stayed at Epstein's private island that Elon tried to get to. He stayed at the Manhattan townhouse that Elon went to. He stayed at Zorro Ranch in New Mexico that I bet if we did some digging, we would find that Elon was there too. Okay, it says a 2014 scheduling email confirms Giuffre will have Joy Ito and Reid Hoffman will go to the ranch for the weekend. But this is way back. Dude, Elon was trying to go to the island before that. Okay, and Elon's, in 2012, Elon is arranging the island. Okay, and you know what I'm saying? So Elon, even if you look at this, some of Elon, he is contacting Epstein the exact same years. Okay, Hoffman hosted a Silicon dinner. Okay, right? And right, this dinner right here, but what's interesting is I don't think he mentions that Elon was at that dinner, the 2011 one. Okay? And so they're talking about Hoffman, ice cream, coded food language, right? New York Times, like they're saying, oh, the New York Times is covering this up, right? All these visits, 2,600 mentions, they're red flags everywhere you look, right? And again, reposted by Elon, but Elon has like the same thing, okay? They're right. I mean, Elon maybe spent less time at his residences, but we don't know. I mean, a lot of these, I don't know, a lot of these residence visits, we don't know how this worked. I mean, with helicopters and small planes and a private airstrip right there. I mean, you have no idea. I mean, some people like Trump never even used email. They just used the phone. Okay. A lot of stuff was done by phone. Dance party. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Good call. Good call. Bro, this shit is crazy. But so guys, while this is going on, okay, Elon is look at this. Look at another thing that Elon posted here, which is crazy, where he said him saying no to Epstein really made him upset. He said, after I ghosted him, Epstein went on a massive campaign to short Tesla, got Gates to short 1% of Tesla stock when the market cap was 40 billion. As far as I know, Gates still has the short open. Someone should ask him how that's working out. Okay. So, dude, oh shit. Bringing it in, guys. Let's go, dude. LFG, let's go. Stop the stupidity, please. Dude, Jessica Tate, let's go. Dude, let's go. Oh, I like that one. What is that one? Is that one? That one's level up. Let's go, dude. Mr. Grant Sloan, let's go. Oh, let's go, baby. So this is, he's making accusations of Bill Gates, like financial improprieties, right? And tying it to Epstein. So now he's like, whoa, Reid Hoffman, whoa, Bill Gates, right? And he goes on. Here's something else that's interesting about this, okay? Is Elon's going on about his kids, all right? Right? See where else we got. Dude, now he's like doing all the AI kid pics. Like, bro, what even is this, dude? This is like AI, dude. These aren't even real kids, right? Dude, what are we doing, bro? Like, this shit is wild. They're AI photos. I mean, granted, this is not shit he's posting, but there are a lot of AI photos happening here. All right, let's go back to his page. Where's his page? Dude. Bro, he's been on a melter, right? He has been on a melter. All right, here we go. And he's launching 𝗙𝗪𝗡. Jesus, dude. Like launching an alternative information source just because he believes that if it's not from him, it's woke, right? They are kind of the wealthy people are sort of melting down right now, guys. They really are. I mean, they're not used to any type of reckoning. Okay? They are not. They are used to being above the law. Like, think about this, guys. Okay? Let me just do a sidebar here for a sec. Because Jenny and I talked about this earlier today in the kitchen, where, you know, I'm reading Julie K. Brown's book, and that kind of covers it all from the beginning, where she went in and she just describes how she broke the case. And so one of the things that was really interesting about Epstein is how he didn't attempt to cover his tracks ever. Okay? Ever. There was no attempt to cover his tracks. He had 1,700 photos of like naked underage people on his walls. Photos. So they were real people. So anyone who came into any of his living spaces knew what he was into. Okay? In Palm Beach, he had girls recruiting other girls in middle schools and high schools. He ran them to and from his house like 24/7. He had them coming in and out of the house, never a worry. He rented some of them cars, okay, in his name. When the Palm Beach detectives started interviewing some of the victims, they found these teenage girls that were driving around rent-a-cars that had been rented for like 2 years that Epstein was paying for, that were rented in his name. He called the rent-a-car, rented a car for an underage girl, and just paid for it for 2 years so she could drive to and from whenever he needed. He was calling them on his cell phone, okay? He had his assistants calling them. They were putting them on planes to the Virgin Islands. They were taking them across state lines to Zorro, to the Virgin Islands, to New York, to Paris, okay? And I mean, we're talking, guys, hundreds of girls recruiting, right? There are just hundreds of girls in Palm Beach, okay? And to the point of, you know, teachers were hearing the girls talking about like going and like whatever, hanging out with this rich guy. And this was going on, and he didn't even make the tiniest effort to like cover any of his tracks. AI, artificial intelligence for the artificially intelligent. Let's go, Grant Sloan. So I don't know, guys. Even with me reading that, it was like a level of brazenness and a level of like impunity that was astonishing. Now, obviously, he had enough connections to make an entire FBI case against him disappear, okay? Which is, I mean, think about how, like, where you got to be on the power scale to make that happen, okay? Right? Like, Joe Biden couldn't even make that happen when he was president and they were investigating his son. You know what I mean? I mean, think about that. There was a 56-page indictment of this man that the FBI had. The FBI had investigated after a 2-year investigation by Palm Beach police, who called the FBI. They prepared a massive indictment. And then not only did the indictment not get, like, not only did they not charge him, but they actually gave him and everybody connected to him lifetime immunity. which means this will never be investigated again, nor will any of the people who ever worked for him. And this is going to disappear right here, right now. Bye-bye. And then he pled guilty to 2 tiny charges, and he did a partial jail time. So, like, I mean, nobody does that, boss. Dude, Wilfred, let's go. That's insane. Dude, yeah, like, it's like friends in, like, the highest places. You know, friends in the highest places. But what's wild, though, Annie, is he didn't really donate a lot politically. I mean, he made some donations to the Democratic Party, but he was not a huge political donor. I mean, he funded a lot of science stuff, and he definitely, you know, helped people with connections. Like, that was the thing that he did, I think, more than anything, was he was a connector, okay? Like, when Bill Clinton wanted, you know, a toehold for the Clinton Foundation in Africa, Epstein took Clinton to Africa and introduced him to everybody, right? You know, when Ivory Coast wanted, you know, fucking surveillance equipment, and they wanted a surveillance, you know, department in the government, he hooked the country of Ivory Coast up with Ehud Barak and the Israel defense ministers, right? And like, you know what I mean? You know, if you wanted a large scale government surveillance system set up, you could call Jeffrey Epstein and he'd be like, yo, let me make a few calls, bro. Right? Isn't that wild? I mean, you know, and so, I mean, there is a real good chance that he was either connected to Mossad or the CIA, or he was connected to a group of people that were operating like above Mossad and CIA, right? He was either in it or he was above it. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like, had ends with it, and he was with a group of people that were beyond that. Like, there's no way, you know, dude, let's go. I mean, even when you think about this, guys, you ready? Just think about this. And dude, Wilfred, let's go. Let's think about this, guys. With the amount of intelligence gathering that goes on with Israel, with Europe, with, you know, like, you know, that you have the Saudi Arabian, like, peninsula, all those countries are doing their intelligence. You have China out there seeking intelligence. There's Russia out there. Everybody has intelligence that are monitoring like everybody else, okay? So think about this. If there's a private citizen in the United States negotiating some surveillance deal between an African country's government and the defense minister of Israel, don't tell me that every fucking intelligence agency in the world that was monitoring what's going on in the Ivory Coast in the Middle East, they had to know about that. They would have been like, why is this individual guy like negotiating for an African country? Like, why did the African country go to this guy who lives in Palm Beach, right? It's like they know him. They had to have known him, or that would have been huge red flags. Yeah, there's a private U.S. citizen negotiating a surveillance deal with an African nation, and they're looping in Israel. Like, right? Everybody had to know that was happening. So they had to know who Epstein was, that it was something not to, like he was like, had clearance or whatever to be able to be doing that. Otherwise, they would have been like, what's going on in Palm Beach? Right? I mean, don't you think? I mean, I don't know. It just seems to me like there's no way that shit would be secret. All right, dude, let's hash this out. We got 17, baby. 24 and 17. Yeah, nothing says Africa like Palm Beach, right? Like the whitest island in America is making connections with all the African countries. That's rich, isn't it? Right? And I mean, dude, look at who he put in charge of intelligence. You know, 𝗙𝗪cie𝗵𝗋𝗃 is in charge of national intelligence. Like, bro, she's like basically a Russian asset. Dude, Ella, let's go. Dude, Ella's quarterbacking tonight. I think Trump, see, I think Trump is connected to Russia in some way. There's no doubt. And I mean, as far as him and Israel, like Netanyahu is his, you know, son-in-law's family's good friend. So Israel is like family to Trump. Like Netanyahu's Israel is basically family to Donald Trump, which is crazy because, you know, I was thinking back to 2024 on the election, and like, I don't understand how the pro-Palestinian movement in America did not see, like, if Trump wins the presidency, how catastrophic it was going to be, right? How catastrophic it was going to be for, you know, Palestine and all things Gaza. Yeah, he lied to them, but like, dude, it was public. You do a Google search and you'll find out that Kushner and Netanyahu were like family. You know what I'm saying? That Charles Kushner and Netanyahu were like best fucking friends. Like, and we know how Trump is with family. Like and everybody was, I was broadcasting that and people were just not listening. Okay. I don't know. I will never understand that fumble, how people fumbled that, you know what I'm saying? Dude, it's crazy. All right, guys, 23 in 15. Let's go. We're going to hone this in and then we're going to continue the grind. Dude, Trump is like mafioso with family. He is like Trump is. He is mafioso when it comes to family. I mean, stop stupidity. Let's go. Yeah, Midas, we saw that. We talked about that the other day, dude. Trumpy, dude, his little, I mean, I guess that means he's going to write an executive order, but dude, Trump can't do shit. Okay? Dude, Trump can eat it. He can, dude. He can eat it. '16, the right believed Jared Kushner. Yeah, dude, why would Jared Kushner bring peace to the Middle East, dude? Right? Keops, let's go. Thank you, boss. I mean, we know what was going on in 2016, okay? We know that Jared Kushner was there to do Netanyahu's bidding. He was a point man for Netanyahu. Dude, Wilfred, let's go. Dude, Trump, I mean, guys, it's like, it kind of looks like Trump is trying to amass as much of a fortune as possible during this presidency, that he is aware that like everything is coming off the rails as soon as this is done. Okay. I think it's pretty obvious that he knows on some level that he has a massive target on his back and his family's back. And I feel like they are massing. Dude, stop stupidity. Let's go. Like, you may have noticed, like, they went heavy into crypto. Okay. And I think the crypto is because they know they need to have their money in shit that can survive, you know, like being frozen or being confiscated by the government. I mean, his family looks like they are preparing to flee the fucking country, dude. And they're making sure they have all their assets tied up in stuff that will, you know what I'm saying? Right? You know what I mean? That's like kind of what I see. Like, look at what he's doing. He's like dealing with Qatar. He's like negotiating for real estate in Gaza, right? He's connected to fucking Argentina. He's socking that oil money away. They are like, man, the crypto companies, and they're doing that stable coin shit so they can, right? With that stable coin so they can store cash. They want to be able to store money outside of the banking system. I mean, it's obviously clear that they want to be able to store like US money. And in addition to crypto, they want to be able to store cash in like stable coins that are tied to currency so they can just fucking have this shit all around the globe. You know what I'm saying? Dude, it's pretty fleeing to Macedonia. Dude, Lucy Lou's mom, LFG, let's go. Dude, let's go. Stop stupidity. Let's go, baby. Dude, Jolie, let's go. Yeah, they are. And guys, we'll probably cover the warehouses and shit tomorrow. We can look at that, right? The warehouses. I know a lot of shit is going on. I think they just bought a warehouse in Georgia. ICE did. I think they're buying a facility in New York State. They just bought one in Georgia. Okay, these are crazy. Here's what's interesting though, guys, is like they're not really getting enough people to fill these spaces, which I find strange. You know what I mean? I find that strange. That, I mean, it's possible. You ready? It's possible of this. Dude, Wilfred, let's go. I mean, it is possible that some of this is just, you know, like preparation for phase 2, or they're just buying the real estate to, like, you know, because it's better than just holding on to that money. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they did put a whole bunch of money into the, you know, the ICE, like they way overfunded it. So I can imagine that they're just going to buy real estate because that's an easy asset, right? It's going to like be increasing in value, owning the property. Then they can convert it if they need it, or they can, you know, sell it or lease it, right, to something else. But yeah, man, I don't know. They're not really pulling a lot of people. Like they're like his deportation force is horribly inefficient, bro. It is. I mean, when you think about Minnesota, all right, we're halfway there, guys. Got 9 minutes, 15 and 9. Minnesota, okay, they spent like $300 million in Minneapolis. And they literally got like 3,000 arrests or something like that, right? A ridiculously low number of arrests. And a tiny percentage of them were violent criminals. Doing the McDonald's land grab? Let's go. Dude, it's insane. It is the biggest waste of money. And it's not improving anything, right? It's not improving anything. Remember how they said that, you know, oh, when we get rid of these people, the housing costs will go down. Dude, stop stupidity. Let's go. Dude, housing costs are sky high, right? Jolie, definitely preparing to run. I say good riddance. Yes, good riddance. But dude, if you look at the housing costs, they are sky high. Where is it? Oh, it was Derek. It was the clothing guy. Okay. He posted this today, right? Where is it? I think I retweeted it. Maybe it's on my page. I think I retweeted it. Yeah. Look at this. U.S. housing market reaches the most unaffordable level in history. Okay. St. Louis Fed. And they found out that this is, right, that the housing market has reached the most unaffordable level in history. And it literally just came out, right? Maybe it's changing. I haven't really seen much change this year yet, okay, right? And I don't know what they're expecting. I see, here's the thing, guys. I don't know how the price of housing comes down, okay? Unless there's a crash, okay? I really don't. It's like the only time the price of housing comes down is when there's a crash. What'll happen is maybe it doesn't go up as fast, but I've never seen rent get cheaper, okay? Even when the crash happened in 2008, okay? Can I just tell you, I was renting a 3-bedroom house, okay? You ready for this? I was renting a 3-bedroom house in 2008, okay? On Mount Tabor, which is a mountain here in Portland that's like, it's like not like a Mount Hood mountain. It's like a hill mountain. It's called Mount Tabor. But when you live in a house on the backside where I lived, you have a view of Mount Hood. And so I lived up on the hill with a woman, 3-bedroom house, floor-to-ceiling windows, fireplace, hardwoods. It was a 1950s ranch style built into the hill. $1,250 a month in 2008. The two of us, we paid $625 each for a 3-bedroom house. Okay, this was 2008. Dude, will these places be used to put as enemies? We don't know. Stop stupidity. But so check that out, right? $1,250 for a 3-bedroom house. Okay, then the housing crash happened. And then me and that woman broke up, and then I moved into an apartment in the Alberta Arts District. Okay, nice, hip place, definitely a hip place to live, right? But so the rent there was $800 a month for a 1-bedroom apartment. Okay, and that was after the crash. You know what I'm saying? Like the housing crashed. And then a bunch of real estate changed homes in like ownership, but like the price of real estate, like the rental price didn't come down. It just kept going up. You know what I mean? And this is in Portland. It just kept going up. And then that house or that apartment, I lived there from, it was like $795 or something. Okay, $775, basically $800 a month, right? And that was in 2010, I want to say, right? It was 2010, I believe. I left that apartment in 2013, and it was $935. Okay? It went from $775 to $935 in 3 years, guys. 3 years. And they started charging us for water too. So it went from $775 with water to $935, and you pay for water in 3 years, dude. That's like a 30% increase, bro. 10 in 5. All right, let's get it. Let's go, Ella. Dude, insane. And that was after the crash. Dude, 5 minutes. Let's go, Jolie. Dude, Wilfred, let's go. Dude, stop stupidity. 5 minutes left. All 10 to go. Let's go. Dude, we got this. Seven remain. Yeah, isn't that nuts? That is like $70 a year, practically. Or no, $50 a year, right? It's $50 a year. So I guess it's only like a 25% increase, right? $2,500 for a 1-bedroom apartment, no utilities included in the armpit of Washington. That is wild. Dude, Wilfred, let's go. Stop stupidity. Let's go. Oh, 1,200 in New Zealand. Is that good? But yeah, dude, that is some wild shit, boss. All right, we're going to finish this out. 3 minutes. And then we need 5 and 3, secure the dance party. And then we get back to Elon Musk's fucking horseshit. Dude, let's go. Dude, stop stupidity. Dude, Hillary, reckoning with joy. Let's go, Hillary. Welcome. Dude, Wilfred, let's go. Dude, let's go. Racer X, let's go. Dance party, let's go. Now and there it is. Dude, Sinful Solution brings it home, dude. Boom. Oh. Dude, let's go. Stop the stupidity. Let's go. Dude, we did it. Dude, Paula. Dude, is that Paula White? We got this. Vote blue. Paula. I know you're not Paula White, but dare to dream. Kidding. I don't want you to be Paula White. I do have a Paula White fixation though. Dude, she is my favorite tongue speaker, right? She is my favorite insane religious person who speaks in tongues. Oh my God. Dude, she is so crazy. I am minorly obsessed, man. I don't know, dude. You're Paula Brown. Let's go. Dude, there is something about Paula White that is like, she is like so crazy. Like so crazy. You just know, like, dude, you know she's got a story. I don't know what it is, but you just know, you're like, yeah, she's got a story, right? She has, there's something about her that, dude, hey, right? You know, she's got a story, dude. She is a loon, okay? She is a loon, boss. She is. I mean, dude, you had a 1-bedroom on Pico and Burnside, moved in 2007 dude, what is Pico and Burnside? What's Pico? Where is that? It $800 a month, left in 2017. The rent was $1,050. And as soon as you left, they raised it to $2,800. Yeah, that's crazy. Where is Pico and Burnside? What is that? Is that in LA? Where is that? Pico, right? Because what is Burnside in LA? I know where Pico is, right? Mid-City. Where is Burnside? Though, is that down by like St. Mark's Place and shit? Is that down, right? I know where Pico is, right? But I don't know where Burnside is, right? Burnside. Trying to think, why does that? Because I mean, we have a Burnside here. Hold on, I want to look at something. South Burnside Avenue. I feel like that might be where my friend fucking Daphne lived, dude, which is crazy. I think that might be why it's sounding so familiar. Okay. Is I think I had a friend, Daphne, that lived down there in like an apartment with a bunch of violin players, right? It's totally sounding familiar. Oh, I'm looking at a map here. Oh my God, that is, dude. Yeah, no, that was like, that's why it sounds so familiar, because it's literally right in my neighborhood, bro. Right? I used to live on Dunsmuir, right? That's why it fucking sounds so familiar. I'm like, dude, where is that? And it was like literally like 1 block over. I lived up by Park La Brea, though. So it was like my friend Bob lived on Cochrane. I lived on Burnside, on Dunsmuir, and Burnside was the next one. Dude, isn't that funny? I'm like, where is that street? Dude, it's literally 1 block from where I live, dude. That's so funny. Oh my God, dude. Yeah. Yeah, I lived in an apartment building on Dunsmuir and 6th, right? Fucking, right? I did. I was further north. I was further north. But I lived in, right? You ready? I'll show you. Right, here we go. There it is. I'll show you the building, dude. It's called Pemberton Place. Right here. Here was the building. All right. This was where I lived, right? When I moved into this building when I was 21, okay? I lived on the 4th floor up here. There were 1-bedroom apartments in the back. I lived right next to that 1-bedroom apartment on the 4th floor with my girlfriend, also named Jennifer. And we lived there for 3.5 years. Okay. And then we broke up and she moved to San Francisco. And then I switched apartments and I moved down to the front one, right? Right there next to the awning. I was downstairs in the front. And so people would they wouldn't use the buzzer. They would just come to the window and fucking shout at me. They'd be like, yo, I'm here. And so I lived down there and I left. So I lived in this building for 8 years, right? It was brick. It was brick, but they were all singles. And then a friend of mine, I had a bunch of friends in the building. My friend Tom was a lawyer. We used to go surfing together. He lived here. And then this girl named Tara lived up here. She dated this guy, Austin, that was on Days of Our Lives. I actually just bumped into her on Instagram. I sent her a message the other day. I don't know if she'll get back to me, but she lived up on the top floor up there. Dude, I lived in this building for 8 years, man. It's like I knew everybody. And then the bass player in my band lived kind of like where we're looking at this building. He lived in the building right there. That was basically on Cochrane and 6th. And nice parking? Not really. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there was a lot of parking, but there were a lot of cars. You had to jockey for fucking parking, bro. You really did. It was hard to find a spot. And so there was 6th Avenue would become 1 lane or 2 lanes in the morning. So they would tow. I used to get my car towed all the time. Okay. It was not permit when I lived there, right? It makes sense that it went permit. That was probably a good call. But no, there was 6th Street. This is Dunsmuir. This is Dunsmuir and 6th Street goes this way. And 6th Street was 1 lane with parking, but in the mornings it went 2 lane from 7 to 9 and 3 to 5. You couldn't park. And so I used to park there because I could get a spot, but then I would I would pass out and my car would get towed. I got my car towed a lot, dude. At least every other month my car got towed, dude. It sucked. But yeah, dude, I lived there for a long time. It was a good spot, boss. It really was. It was a good apartment. But now they're super. So you ready for this? So what my apartment was when I lived in the one downstairs, the single downstairs, it was I think it was $550, right? It was $550. I had a Camaro, a 74 Camaro. It was $550, bro. Right? A month for my apartment. That was it. Dude, it's crazy. $550. It's 26 years ago. But now I looked at it the other day. I think they're $1,700 or $1,800 or some shit. They're crazy expensive now. But yeah, no, I had a Camaro. And then I worked at Jerry's Deli, which Jerry's is gone now too, man. That place went under. You love living. Yeah, I mean, Annie, that's one of the things that was great about that neighborhood was it was super walkable, right? There was coffee shop, grocery stores, Walgreens, there was a print shop where I printed my band flyers. Everything there was walkable. And if you wanted to walk, you could even go up to the farmer's market, oh, dude, I used to go to Canner's all the time, dude. Yeah. I mean, Canner's though was you would go to there to get drunk sometimes, right? But yeah, no, Canner's was pretty cool. There was a little bit of a scene there. Kibitz room. Yeah, it's Canner's is a deli and the Kibitz room is a little bar attached to it. Right? It's a pretty famous place. It was up on Fairfax. There's a bunch of shit up on Fairfax. Canner's and the Molly Malone's and just a bunch of really quirky stuff that was all really had like very different personalities. Right? On Fairfax. It was a pretty cool street. Yeah, things are different in the UK. Bordners is that's up in Hollywood. It's Bordners. There's an N in there. Bordners. That was a place I used to hang out as well. Right? That was a scene. That was a good place to meet the ladies. Meet the ladies, right? Let's go. You rode your horse to Thrifty's? That's crazy. Dude, it was pretty wild. Now, what's nuts about it is I would like to get back to LA. I don't know when we will get back to LA, but I think my son is going to be like, I'm pretty sure Bryce is going to get to LA before I do, because he's living in New York City now, but he is going to be moving to LA at some point, right? He is. And so yeah, we'll see what happens. Dude, I do love LA though. It is a great city. All right, let's get back to Elon here. All right, we're going to finish up on this Elon situation, because like I said, Elon, after this, all right, where are we at? Let me find where we pulled him up. Okay. Was it here? Dude. Oh, here it is. It's this. So he has been, dude, Elon's been in meltdown mode, guys. Okay, he has been in meltdown mode ever since he came out. But you know what's weird about it, guys? Here's what's weird about Elon, okay? Is did you guys notice that there was like a, I don't know, there was like a period that happened where all the emails came out, okay? And right away, everyone's like, oh, Elon lied. And Elon obviously wasn't telling the truth. He probably went to the island. And then what ended up happening was he went through a brief period where he was saying, you know, release all the files. He's like, I'm the only person who's advocating for releasing the files. Remember that? Remember when he went through that phase where he was like touting himself as the one guy who was, you know, all about releasing the files? That was like his play. And then he was kind of quiet for a bit. And it literally just started a couple days ago where he started sort of re-amplifying things. And no, I didn't even really hear a lot of people talking about it until he did. And it seems like it's like weirdly connected to the Zorro Ranch thing, right? Zorro Ranch starts getting talked about, and then all of a sudden Elon is like, oh, right? I don't know. Something about it is just weird, the timing of it, where it seems like he brought it back. Everyone talking about the Epstein files and everyone talking about Reid Hoffman, okay? And him pulling out Reid Hoffman, okay? And now he's doing the whole family thing of him with pictures of kids, you know? And so I don't know, man. There's something about Elon's like, dude, his mom is so creepy. There's something about him that there's been like a resurgence of this, okay? Of Elon like re-bringing up Epstein just in the last couple of days, okay? And now I know his brother is starting to take some heat. Right? Here's another one. Reid Hoffman is lying. He has not been cleared by the FBI, right? 1,737 emails, confirmed visits, sent gifts to the island, stayed blah, blah, blah. But again, he's like it's like totally, hey, let's go look at Reed, right? And guys, this is like the same shit that Trump is doing. Okay, Trump is let's look at Bill Clinton. Elon Musk is let's look at Reed, right? Bill Gates is like oddly silent. Have you noticed that? Like Bill Gates just ain't saying shit, okay? Right? You know what I mean? Like I haven't seen Bill Gates really say anything, dude. And they are kind of all ratting each other out. They are. They're all like sort of like, you know, trying to, you know, out people. Okay. And again, Reid Hoffman again, right? Claims about Epstein, saying the FBI cleared him. Okay. And again, though, right? They're spending a lot of time talking about Reid. Okay. Talking about Reid. Now, here was Elon getting into it with Reid Hoffman. Okay. This is a couple days ago where Elon says Hoffman should be investigated. Look at this thread, guys. It's a meltdown. So we got this guy fucking who now has a podcast. Like, Jesus, dude. I'm sorry, guys. For me, I don't know about you, but when I see like weird Twitter people that like then are using like the lighting this guy is using, like, dude, are you making a like B horror movie or what? But this guy's got a podcast with the fucking weird lighting, the blue light on his face. And he's got kind of a, I don't know, he's got sort of a caramel skin tone, which when, if you have like a caramel skin and you use blue lighting, it makes you look green. Okay? As a filmmaker, this shit drives me nuts, bro. It's like you're making yourself look like a fucking cadaver. But so this account has been, you know, like a huge misinformation account like forever. And now the guy's got a podcast. So now we got to look at his face, bro. Jesus, dude. You know what I'm saying? But look at what he's doing, right? He's posting about Reid Hoffman at the ranch, at the island, at the apartment. He bought ice cream for the girls, a metal sculpture for the island, right? He donated to a bunch of Democrats. He's saying he funded fake bots. I don't know if they have proof of some of this shit. Right, he did form a super PAC, okay, and I don't know about funding bot armies. I know certainly Elon does. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy does. I'm sure all of the social media people do, okay, and they're like, you know, he's pointing out his fucking connections, okay. Now, dude, I'm not gonna say Reid Hoffman isn't deeply connected to Elon, because dude, he absolutely is, okay. There's no doubt, okay? But then he says the FBI cleared me. You, on the other hand, right? Elon's like, Hoffman should be investigated. And then Reid says the FBI cleared me. You, on the other hand. And then there's a community note, of course, right? You knew the community note was coming that says no public FBI clearance. His claim refers to a 2025 internal FBI note of no hit in the Epstein files. Okay, 2026 DOJ releases show connections, but no wrongdoing. So, like, I don't even know why that community note exists, because the community note is kind of saying Reid Hoffman's right, but like, you know, but I guess they didn't use the language cleared. But then look at Elon. Look at what he goes off here. He says, liar, you are guilty of dark deeds and haven't been cleared of anything. You stayed at Epstein's island, Epstein's ranch in New Mexico, Epstein's house in New York. You offered to help him with PR. You gave him gifts. Maybe if it was only one stayover, you could claim it was a mistake. Maybe, but there is no possible explanation for the second time, let alone the third time, as the record shows you were an eager repeat customer. Okay? Now, dude, Elon's going dark MAGA on his ass, right? He is like all in. But guys, here's what's wild about this is like, you know, this person, male, said, how do you know? Right? Other people, dude, is doing dude, I love that gif. Oh, that's a good one with the chair, dude. Right? everybody, of course, is pulling out their popcorn here. But guys, let's just process this, okay? Because we know they're having a little cat fight, okay? But so Elon, though, is like, if you went once, it could be a mistake. But if you go back a second time, there's no explanation. But like, dude, how would Reed know? Like, Elon went to Musk's house and said it was just weird art. Elon went back. Elon had multiple dinners. Elon had multiple meetings. Okay. Howard Lutnick went in business with Epstein. Okay. Does Elon have a problem with Lutnick? I mean, Lutnick said he one and done. We find out he lied. We find out he went business. He went to the island. He was in business with Epstein. Dude, I mean, it's pretty wild that he's calling Reed out, but he's like hyper fixated on Reid Hoffman, right? You're guilty. You did bad shit. Okay. Shit. Where were we? Oh shit. I opened it up. Okay. So then, right? Everybody's picking up on this, and Elon is like, starting this multiple day fight with Reid Hoffman on this matter, on like, squirrel, let's go look at Reid. Okay. But doesn't it seem like Elon, I don't know. It seems like Elon knows a lot about this, right? You know what I mean? Like, doesn't it seem like Elon knows a lot about this? Do you get the feeling? I get the feeling that these guys know about each other, that like guys that got entangled in this know that, like, about the entanglements. Like, I can't help but thinking about what Virginia Giuffre said, where Epstein would like rope people in, right? He would pull people in, and then he had the like compromat on them, and the people were like, oh fuck, like what just happened? Okay. And yeah, I think they are legitimately, I think they all kind of know what everybody's got on everybody. It's just whether it's provable or not. Now, guys, there were cameras everywhere, okay? There are cameras, guys, like everywhere, okay? There were cameras all over his house, his mansion in New York. There were cameras all over Zorro Ranch. There were cameras all over Palm Beach. All right. This guy, when he was having a get together, he was having a party, there were cameras all over the island. I guarantee you there's like video. I guarantee you there's video. Okay. We saw the Schuster tweet yesterday where Schuster said as much. Now, Schuster's the guy who called the discharge petition. He called how that was going to play out. And he's been weirdly prescient with his tweets. And he said, Schuster in his tweet said that they have videos. They've destroyed a bunch of shit, but there is a bunch of shit that is videos of Trump and other guys doing it. Okay? Video, not pictures, video activity. The DOJ has them. Okay? That the FBI, they have them. They are part of the unreleased shit. Blanche knows. Pam Bondi knows. Kash Patel knows. I'm still convinced this is why Dan Bongino quit. I think Dan Bongino found out that shit existed and he simply had to get out. Like, I don't know. I don't watch Dan Bongino's content, but I'm pretty willing to guess that Dan Bongino is not talking about the Epstein files every day. Okay? Okay, I'm pretty sure he's not talking about like, let's get him out, right? Let's release him. I don't think he's doing that anymore. I think he has shifted. But so there were when they originally got to Palm Beach, there were some computers and hard drives missing. Okay. By the time when they arrested Epstein in 2019 at Teterboro, it was a little more of a surprise. Okay. He was not aware that it was coming. And so they did raid his New York mansion. They kicked the fucking door in and they found a bunch of tapes. They found a bunch of like burned CDs with video and shit at his New York mansion. They found a bunch of hard drives in his safe at the mansion. He like put shit on compact disc. And so they have a lot of stuff. Okay. A lot. Because they surprised. It was a surprise. He was coming back from Paris. He did not know he was getting arrested. He was not aware that, like, at all, that it was coming back on him because he had an immunity deal, guys. He did. And there was just there was a court judgment where the victims that got screwed in the immunity deal sued the U.S. government for infringing their victim rights by offering him an immunity deal without talking to them and their lawyers first. And they won, and that voided the immunity deal. Okay? Now, what we haven't been able to explain is why Sarah Kellen, Nadia Marcinkova, Leslie Groff, and Adriana Ross are not in jail right now. Okay? They should all be arrested and awaiting trial or be willing to tell the truth about everything, because those four women, and we're going to look at Sarah Kellen tomorrow because there's some weird improprieties with her and her husband, the Vickers guy, where it looks like Epstein was paying them off like 8 years after she left the fold, or 5 years later. And it looks like Ivanka Trump might be involved in that. I don't want to give it away too early, but we're going to look at Sarah Kellen tomorrow. She's got to get arrested. Okay. She absolutely does. She is also the woman in the famous like Clinton jacuzzi shot. Okay. That's Sarah Kellen right there. She should not have been redacted. She was on that trip to Brunei with Clinton and Epstein. She was the assistant that went along. There was always an assistant that went along as like an executive, you know, like an administrative assistant. But so there's that. But they do, though, if you look at, like, let me pull up something here. Where would I find this? Oh shit. Not gonna be able to do it. Thumbnail. So I'd have to open Adobe Bridge. Maybe we'll look at that tomorrow. But they have a bunch of video, guys. Okay, they have a bunch of video, a ton. Like there's an image. Let me see if we can find the image just on the net. Epstein mansion video CDs. Right? Yeah, here it is. Okay. There were like entire drawers just filled with compact discs of video. There were like many drawers of this shit. Okay. And like dated just a lot. Okay. A ton of it. Okay. A ton of it. A ton of this shit. Okay. There were, you know, and they were marked like, look, Selena audio video shoot to AV shoot. So some of these are certainly photographs. Some of them are like video stuff. I mean, there was a ton of it. And I believe they found some at the island too. They found entire cabinets, okay, right, filled with tapes, and then his safe was filled with hard drives and shit. So there was like a treasure trove of stuff found in various spots on the mansion. Like here's an example. This is one that is filled with, like, what are these? Those are hard drives, right? Fucking just a ton of fucking hard drives, boss. Right? And that is like, so there's a lot, all right? There's a lot of stuff, okay? There were bins that were also filled with hard drives and various recorded material too. I mean, they got a lot. There's certainly a lot that got away, okay? There's no doubt that a lot that got away, for sure. And I'm sure a lot got destroyed. I am sure that there was probably a ton at Zorro Ranch. Now here's what's going to be interesting about this, guys, is what I find interesting is thinking that somewhere along the line, somebody connected to Zorro, a groundskeeper, a security person, somebody close to Epstein, somebody took some of that shit or copied that shit, okay? Somebody fucking took that stuff. And somebody did, guys. There is no doubt in my mind that somebody took some of this stuff. Whether that person ever comes forward, it's like, when you think about it, once he got arrested, follow my train of thought here, guys. Okay? If you're working for this guy and he gets arrested and he gets pulled up and you know the FBI is coming in there, maybe they're going to search that Zorro Ranch, and you're like, holy fuck, I could go to prison for life. The one way you guarantee not going to prison for life is, like, guess what I have? I have damning evidence that will allow you to prosecute the people who fucking did this, right? It is like, it's your fucking ticket to freedom, guys. If you work there, that is your ticket to freedom. To not being prosecuted is having that shit, okay? It is like your get out of jail free card. So anybody who had a survival instinct, anybody who wanted to make sure that they were going to stay silent, but if they got rattled, if the knock came on their door, they were going to protect themselves from being the fall guy. You had to take something, okay? That's just it. You had to take something, you know? So I know somebody has it. I know somebody has it. I wouldn't be surprised if Sarah Kellen and 𝗙𝗎 and those, right? If those women have it, right? Now, obviously the risk is you pull this shit out and you may end up, with some concrete shoes on. All right. Right? You may. Somebody said Sarah Kellen's Wikipedia page was down. No, her Wikipedia page is here. Oh, weird. No, dude. Whoa. Oh, shit. Dude. It switches to Brian Vickers. What the hell, bro? That's crazy. Because look, it even still says Sarah Kellen. Look at that, dude. It says Sarah Kellen, but you click on it and it goes to her husband, Brian Vickers. And guys, this is like new, okay? If we go to the Wayback Machine, hold on, let's find this. Yeah, I mean, if we go to Sarah Kellen's page, all right, you go to the Wayback Machine, and we'll just go back to fucking January. Okay, we'll go back a month ago, and look at this. There was a significant page of hers, right? A significant page. Dude, her page got nuked, bro. Now, you go to Sarah Kellen's page, and it goes to her husband, Brian Vickers. That's wild, boss. Now, guys, I've said this. You know I've talked about Sarah Kellen. We even did a video about her. Hold on, if we go here. Oops. If we go here and we search, where is it? I did a video about her right here. This is 6 months ago. Okay. I'll fucking put the link in here. Right. There are tweets between Trump Jr. and Vickers. Dude, so guys, there is a connection. Okay, that was the first video about Sarah Kellen. I also did this video about the 4 lieutenants. This one was a month ago. Okay, now, guys, I literally believe that these 4 women right here are like central to this, and Sarah Kellen might be the biggest of the big, guys. Okay, I shit you not. Okay, Sarah Kellen is like the biggest of the big. She absolutely is. She was the closest to Ghislaine. She was the one who managed. She managed like all of the girls basically in Palm Beach, and she went on most of the travels. Okay, they're erasing information. Yeah, but they can't erase the fucking Wayback Machine, right? You know what I'm saying? But I mostly screenshot everything. There's really nothing here that is like I don't know. There's nothing here that is like super damning, right? I don't know. It's weird. But what I was gonna say about Sarah Kellen is she traveled like almost all of Giuffre's flights. Okay, if we look at what it says here. Hold on. She was absolutely trafficking. Okay, right? But guys, look at this right here. Okay, she went on 350 flights, guys. 350. Okay, 350 flights she went on. That is insane. Okay, then Emmy Taylor, who is this British woman, went on 203 flights. Okay, and this is wild too, because Emmy Taylor like sued the Miami Herald and Julie K. Brown and won. Okay, and the Miami Herald had to apologize for her. You don't really hear much about her. She was like an Epstein sort of associate in the early 90s, and then she dipped out. Okay, right? She dipped out. But like Sarah Kellen was like the big. Okay, she was the big. Like, she is going to be central to this stuff. All right, Sarah Kellen is there. She is with Brian Vickers. Okay, so 1,098 flights with Epstein, 852 with Ghislaine. So Ghislaine was almost on every flight. Sarah Kellen was on 350. Okay, right? Look at this, though. Look at these, like, the number of flights, okay? We have a handful. We have 5 for Naomi Campbell, Dershowitz, Trump, Bill Clinton. We have Dubin, Jean-Luc Brunel, but like 350 guys. So next to Ghislaine Maxwell, like Sarah Kellen is like the next person who knows it all. Okay, all, right? She knows it all, guys. And you know, it's astonishing. And that's her too. This is her at the ranch at Zorro, right? Dude. She should be in front of, you know what I'm saying? Here she is too. She should be in front of the oversight committee, right? She absolutely should be in front of the oversight committee. I mean, she was on so many flights, guys. She knows so much stuff. Like, she absolutely, you know, there's like, other than Ghislaine Maxwell, there is nobody that knows more about like Epstein and who did what and who went where than Sarah Kellen did. I don't know why Sally Ride is showing up in all of these fucking, like, why is Sally Ride in so many of these search results? Right? Isn't that weird? Like, that's bizarre, dude. Yeah. Oh, she was heavily involved. And so we're going to look at some of that in depth tomorrow. But I think she has to be like, she is a central figure to this, guys. And I'm not sure why she's not erased. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not sure why she hasn't been pulled in. Why she hasn't been and look at this. And what is this, dude? This is Brian Vickers. So he has a new girlfriend, Xandra Palma. Okay? Dude, she has like no Twitter presence. So Brian Vickers, the race car driver who married Sarah Kellen, like she immediately got married. She took the Vickers name. She became Sarah Vickers. She moved to New York City. They had a New York City apartment. They had a Miami Beach apartment, multi-million-dollar pads in Miami Beach and New York City. And then she started an interior design business. And so what happened was she was originally, she got immunity, okay? She got an immunity deal with the original immunity deal back when Alex Acosta. It applied to Sarah Kellen, Adriana Ross, Leslie Groff, Nadia Marcinkova, Jeffrey Epstein, and then it branched out to include anyone who ever worked for him was covered with blanket immunity for life. That was the deal the FBI gave him, bro. Like, what the fuck? But then, like I said, the victims, the survivors, had that case where they challenged that the government broke their victims' rights, and that immunity deal got shattered, which is why Epstein got arrested. It's why Ghislaine Maxwell got arrested, tried, and convicted, because they were no longer covered. But here's the deal. Why aren't they arresting these women? They are allowed to. It is open season. They can. Yeah, that deal got canceled. It was the victims' rights lawsuit against Epstein. It was this, right? The CVRA, right? The Crime Victims' Rights Act, okay? And so it was Courtney Wild sued about that non-prosecution agreement, okay? And in 2019, it was ruled that they had acted unlawfully. The U.S. government acted unlawfully, okay? All right, cool. Thank you, Dystopian. They acted unlawfully, all right, because they didn't contact the victims, all right? And then they rejected to force renegotiation, okay, right? And then I guess she took it to a Supreme Court, but that's how they arrested him, okay? That's how they arrested him, was based on that ruling, okay? And then they filed a new case. Basically what this said, you ready? So what this said was, I think the way they did this is after this ruling, they filed new charges in New York under the assumption of they had violated the victim's rights. So this is not in Florida. So we're filing new charges based on New York crimes. And then they arrested him. Now, that I believe that the Florida thing is still like valid, right? But I feel like it could be challenged. But you see that the Supreme Court wouldn't hear Courtney Wild's case. So the Supreme Court is obviously preventing this from going through because, guys, there's no way that non-prosecution agreement is legal, okay? There's no way, because there were like 60 victims, okay? And you can't have victims of a case with a 56-page federal fucking indictment, and then you go and you make a deal with the guy that lets him off to everything and you didn't even notify the victims. There's no fucking way, right? That is like so illegal. You can't do that. You can't like just make a case go away and give a plea deal without speaking to the attorneys of the other people involved in that shit. The people that have been violated, that had the crimes committed against them. You can't do that. Okay? You have to at least talk to them. They might not have a lot of say, but you can't, like, there is a law, a Crime Victims' Rights Act. There is a law, guys, that says what victims are due. They're federally protected. You are protected. You know what I'm saying? But again, it looks like her case got zapped. Okay. Now this, look at this, is it looks like Richie Torres, okay, has added an amendment. All right, he introduced the Epstein Crime Victims Act, and it amends the CVRA to ensure that they're notified even before the charges are formally filed and allows them to sue. So they're trying to amend this thing. I think that might be it, right? What might be the problem is there wasn't actual like recompense written into the original law that like, so there is, their rights were violated, but the law itself, I don't think says like when your rights are violated, here's what you can do. Okay. But anyway, this, I think, like, I guess I'm not shocked that the Supreme Court rejected it. Okay. That the Supreme Court decided not to hear it because they're on the Trump fucking yanker, right? They are. Dude, they're yanking the Trump. But this is how they arrested him. Okay. They arrested him after this court ruling. Okay. Judge Mara made the court ruling, and then they immediately filed New York charges, and they were able to arrest him, and they were able to arrest Ghislaine Maxwell. Now I see that the circuit, the Court of Appeals wouldn't force a renegotiation, okay, because no federal charges were filed, blah, 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 and the Supreme Court declined to hear it. So this is still like in a nether region. So guys, I mean, I think they can still file New York charges. There's no reason they couldn't. And especially if the Democrats win the House and they're able to, you know, if they were able to pass the Epstein Crimes Victim Act, right? That would like if it had a retroactive provision, okay? But so yeah, we haven't heard the end of that, okay? We have not heard the end of that. But I'm telling you right now, like this woman right here, I feel like this woman is the next Ghislaine Maxwell, dude. Like Sarah Kellen is everything. Somebody said that there were some details. You said you had details about what they're trying to remove. Is that what it is? They're trying to remove some shit? Is that what we're looking at here? I'm going to pull this up. So there is, because I'm not sure how Wikipedia edits work, right? But so here, I'm going to pull this up. Zed put this in the chat. Okay. Oh, it's articles for deletion. Articles for deletion, Sarah Kellen. All right. So it says it's a debate of the proposed deletion of the article. The result was redirected to Vickers, okay, without prejudice against a very selective merging of verified encyclopedic content while observing. I can see consensus among experienced editors relying on P&G that the topic isn't suitable for a standalone article. What does this mean? What are we reading here? Right? I mean, it's saying like so We do not publish biographies for living people who are only notable for having allegedly committed a crime but have not been convicted. So they're trying to remove her part. Is that what it is? They're trying to say that, like, but like, dude, she's just like super famous. I mean, there's nobody's even saying she's convicted of a crime, right? But like, so there's somebody on here, like, right? And then it redirects to Vickers. Okay. Hold on. I want to see exactly where it goes. Dude, like, they can say anything here. I mean, I just, like, what I find unusual about this is like, you know, the thing about this article, it feels like total bullshit. Because the thing about this article, okay, is this article doesn't exist because of her. I think it exists more about the non-prosecution agreement and her being a central figure in the case than it does about her having been convicted of a crime. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, give me a fucking break. She's famous. She is famous because of her, like, proximity to Jeffrey Epstein. Okay? And when was this started? Like when was this? This was literally, this is like brand new. Okay. So they're starting this like about a week ago. Yeah. No, I saw the other one. I'm going to pull that up. I wanted to look at this. So here's what it says. It says, the Wikipedia article on Sarah Kellen has been subject to ongoing edits and discussions, particularly around its notability and potential deletion as of February 2026. It was semi-protected on February 14th, meaning only auto-confirmed or experienced editors could make changes due to concerns over BLP violations and edit wars. This protection was implemented by editor 𝗏🗏, who cited persistent violations of Wikipedia's policies. The edits and discussions were driven by a broader Wikipedia articles for deletion debate, where editors argued whether Kellen, despite her alleged role in the Jeffrey Epstein's operation, meets Wikipedia's notability standards. Okay? Somebody argued keeping it due to her centrality in the case and the public interest in the congressional mandated release of the files, which, I mean, absolutely. Dude, she's famous, right? She is famous, okay? Right? And then it says somebody supported redirecting it to litigation involving Epstein due to lack of independent notability. Okay, then somebody challenged the semi-protection and emphasized the importance of consensus and open editing. As of February 17th, remains under semi-protection. No final decision has been made on its deletion or redirection. The content reflects multiple sources, including court documents, media reports, statements from Judge Allison Nathan, who described Kellen as a criminally responsible participant and knowing participant in the conspiracy. Sarah Kellen is also known by the alias Sarah Kensington, Sarah Lynn Kensington. She has been linked to Epstein's inner circle as a scheduler and gatekeeper. She has not been criminally charged. But here's the thing, guys, is if you look at her page, look at all the references, okay? The Palm Beach Post, the New York Times, right? People, right? Then you have Inside Edition. You have Business Insider Political, right? Business Insider. There's some Substacks. The Cut, okay? This is a Radar Online. More Business Insider people. I mean, these are not like, right? This is fucking, like, she's a significantly well-known person. When you said today, 30 minutes ago, no, it was the 14th is when they were like hashing this out. Yeah, I mean, this is some track covering, okay? And, right? This is definitely like covering of her tracks. Very strange, okay? It said 17th. No, it said, right? It said February 14th. It was semi-protected. 14th. Okay? And then it says as of the 17th, it is still semi-protected. But it says the 14th, boss. Right? Right? The 14th. So this went to semi-protected status 3 days ago. Okay? Now, right? So that's when they pulled it. Okay? I guess they started discussing this shit and they forwarded it on the 14th. And then as of today, it is still under semi-protection. They haven't decided. So, but what's crazy though, guys, is if we go back and look at what was going on, is look at when this shit, that's the day after Elon and these guys were fighting. Okay? Isn't it crazy? That's the day after these were fighting. Let's see if something significant happened on the 14th, shall we? Let's see if the AI search did anything significant happen in the Epstein case on February 14. See, this is where AI is useful. All right. Okay. So the DOJ sent a mandated letter regarding the final tranche. Okay. Oh, news broke. Oh, that's what it was. It was Jagland, right? Jagland in fucking Norway. right when he got announced. Yeah. So it was like right after that. I mean, maybe that's something to do with it, because she definitely went to Europe. Is it possible that she's like all of a sudden became worried that she's going to end up getting arrested, like for something to do with in Europe? Okay, so that sort of broke. I'm curious about the tranche of emails. Hold on. Where's our thing, dude? I can't find the realm. Let's see about this. The DOJ congressional letter. All right. Was it about the redactions? Yes, DOJ letter about redactions. Yes, right here. So that's what happened. It says, so February 14th, they sent a letter to Congress, okay, that saying we won't release anything else, right? We're releasing everything else. Nothing more is coming. And I guess they like also didn't really go into details about redactions. Okay. Also, oh shit. Reports also revealed Palm Beach had investigated them as early as 2001. Hillary Clinton was in Munich. And so, yeah. So I guess the 14th was a pretty big day. And on the day of all that shit coming out, somebody's getting arrested in Europe. The DOJ says, we're done. This is all you're getting. Okay. And then I'm curious about this. Palm Beach Police, 2001. Oh, shit, bro. There it is, dude. That's the article. Hold on. This is the article. This is, oh man. This is the thing that I hadn't heard about this, guys. Okay, because remember, okay, hold on. Let me get this real quick, okay? And I'm going to give you some details after I get this taken care of, all right? Okay. Okay. So here's what we got. This is our article. Okay. Epstein investigation began years earlier than previously believed. Okay. This is super important. Okay. Palm Beach police dug through nude photographs in Epstein's trash years before what was believed to be the first investigation. Now, guys, this is a bombshell, because the timeline of this was that it was 2005 when they first discovered, okay, that something was going on. The police chief was Ryder and the detective was 𝗙𝗃𝗃, okay? And 𝗙𝗃𝗃 got put on this case and started investigating based on a phone call from the stepmother of of a girl who had gotten in a fight at school. They were calling her a slut because of her going and doing this shit with this old guy. And there was a fight. And the school administrators broke up the fight. And the principal, they looked through this girl's purse and she had $300 in it. Okay. This student, she was like 15. And this is 2005. It's a lot of money. Okay. $300, right? And so what ended up happening is they called her stepmom, and her stepmom was like, what the fuck is going on? There's a fight about some old guy that you're going to his house and you have $300. And so the stepmom called the Palm Beach police. That was the event that set this off. Okay. Yeah, I know they trash on the teachers, but like, it's literally teachers that fucking like crack this case, guys. Isn't that insane? Teachers being aware and paying attention, right? The parents never noticed the money or the girl going to Epstein. It was the teachers that figured this shit out. Okay. But again, that was 2005. Okay. Now this investigation, by the time it got to 2006, they had like 60 victims. Okay, all teen girls in and around Palm Beach. Okay, now that's when Trump called. And guys, for the record, okay, we do need to clear this up here. For the record, Donald Trump did not call a police chief and give him information about Epstein. He did not call and turn him in. He did not call and help him get prosecuted. Donald Trump called and said, good job. I'm glad you got him. Everybody knows he's bad. And Ghislaine Maxwell, too. She's evil. That was it. All Donald Trump did was say, word on the street is this guy's pretty bad. I'm really glad you got him. Okay? And so, yeah, they are freaking out. But let's see this, okay? It says here that the forgotten Epstein probe, what police knew years before his arrest, a look into the 2001-2002 Palm Beach investigation of Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell that went nowhere. So now we're discovering that 4 years before this, 4 years before that parent, they were already investigating him. Wow. Dude, that's like a bombshell. Okay? Police investigated Epstein and Ghislaine in 2001, years earlier. 3 college students reported being recruited by Maxwell to work at Epstein's mansion. One said Epstein had her remove her shirt, made her extremely uncomfortable. Police surveillance and garbage searches in 2002 uncovered nude photographs but found no evidence of a crime. I guess presumably because those college students were of age. Okay? Officers within the West Palm Beach and Palm Beach police departments investigated claims that as early as 2001, 3 years before what was believed to be the first tip to law enforcement. An intelligence report contained in the latest trove of Epstein files not only reveals the agency's early attempts to investigate the complaints, which they deemed unfounded, but also contradicts statements by former Palm Beach Police Chief Michael Ryder, who has long said that the first victims discovered by police did not implicate Maxwell. Dude, see, this is crazy. Why is this crazy? I'm in lawyer mode right now. And let me just tell you why this paragraph right here is a bombshell. Because the Trump blurb, that blurb that all of the right-wingers were posting that said, Trump called me, and right, the thing they're using to exonerate, you ready? Hold on. We'll find the fucking quote. Let me get the quote here. We're going to find this. I will keep reading, but you got to see this. This is an important context here. Okay? We got to find this. Ready? So We got to find the clip here. Right here. It says here, Trump knew Epstein was disgusting. Trump said Maxwell was Epstein's operative. She is evil, and to focus on her, Trump told blank that he was around Epstein when teenagers were present, and he got the hell out of there. Trump was one of the very first people to call when people found out they were investigating Epstein. Now, why is this important, guys? Okay, is because of this. Because this is saying the information that the Palm Beach Post uncovered that they were investigating in 2001 is saying that the police chief, Michael Ryder, lied. Okay? They're saying that Michael Ryder, when they investigated in 2005, he said, we have never investigated Jeffrey Epstein. Okay? And now what they're saying is that Michael Ryder was lying because they had, and he had been police chief, which means that this statement by Michael Ryder is now impeachable, right? Because if Michael Ryder has been caught lying that when he investigated in 2005, he was lying about having previously investigated Epstein, that means this statement about Trump is like totally impeachable. In court, it would be like he would be sunk as a witness right there because now they caught the police chief fucking lying. Okay. Now, one of the things we should note is it was Rick Carey. It was the officer that, like, I believe reached out to the FBI. Like, so this is crazy. Okay. Ryder reached for comment by the Palm Beach Post, said he did not know about his agency's 2001 investigation until recently when he read the report in the Epstein files. Ryder said a police chief cannot be aware of every report or investigation, but said he was surprised his officers didn't mention the prior complaint once the 2000 investigation began, dude. Dude, come on, bro. Like, what are we talking about? That is such bullshit, okay? Right? Let me just tell you. You ready? If they are investigating one of the wealthiest people, okay, on Palm Beach Island, like, guys, this island, the wealth there is like sickening, okay? Nobody lives on Palm Beach Island that isn't wealthy AF, okay? And they are all like uber powerful. This guy Epstein donated to the police, right? So if one of your donors and one of the most powerful people, one of the wealthiest people on Palm Beach Island is being investigated for potential sex crimes, they would tell the police chief just so even if they like, he had to like be asked about this thing. Like, he would not want to be blindsided and all of a sudden have it come up in a press conference like, oh, by the way, we hear that Jeffrey Epstein is being, investigated. Like, this is absolutely untrue. Like, I believe that a police chief is not aware of every report or investigation, but there is no way the police chief would not be aware of a potential sex crime investigation with one of the wealthiest people on that island that could sink them all, right? That could like sink the police department. Like, come on, bro. And Palm Beach County Sheriff Rick Bradshaw, who was chief of West Palm Beach Police Department at the time, said over text he had no memory of his officers investigating Epstein, okay? And so, dude, this is crazy. That was in West Palm. According to one officer who is not named in the report, 3 students attending Palm Beach Atlantic University in West Palm told city police they'd been approached by Maxwell on campus. Maxwell told the girls she needed young, beautiful, unmarried women to work at Epstein's mansion on Palm Beach. The students, college roommates, whose ages are not listed in the documents, but who were referred to as girls, said they went to the Epstein's house on several occasions and were paid $200 a day to answer phones. Okay, the calls came from men saying when they were going to drop off particular girls. Whoa, dude. Yeah, the officers not named. Dude, this is intense. And yes, this is definitely going to be a video. Dude, this is crazy. And what's crazy about this, guys, is how, look at what they said they were doing. They were paid to answer phones, and the calls were from men saying, like, telling when they were dropping off girls. So, like, there is some other, like, men involved in pimping, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what was going on with this, but this is prior to the females being the procurers, right? All three girls said Maxwell and Epstein were secretive about what was going on in the house, and two said Epstein touched them inappropriately. They told the officer that Maxwell asked for a list of other girls who she could call to work on short notice. Maxwell, who's serving a 20-year sentence for grooming and abusing, told them she needed a large pool to choose from as she did not know how many she would need at any given time. Okay, the West Palm Beach police officer asked the girls whether they would give Maxwell the phone numbers of undercover officers. They were receptive to the idea, the officer wrote, though it's unclear from the report whether this ever happened. Okay? Epstein's survival, that's Danielle Bensky, and this is Aniushka. We watched her interview with Midas not too long ago. And yeah, dude, looking at what 𝗙ecie said there, dude, Epstein donating $139,000 in 14 years, that's not a lot of money, guys. That's like I mean, you know, I know it says a major financial donor. That to me doesn't seem very major. I mean, maybe it was a little bigger back then, but like, that's like 10 grand a year, you know what I'm saying? But according to the document titled Prostitution-Epstein, West Palm Beach Police referred the information to Palm Beach Police. So this is interesting because now you definitely know the chief is probably notified about this, okay? Because it was West Palm bringing it to Palm Beach. Okay, 4 days later, Sergeant George Frick shared the tip with the detective identified as A. Taylor. Taylor made numerous attempts to reach the girls at their dorm telephone between December and January, received no answer. The detective also ran background checks on Epstein and Maxwell, which returned no evidence of a criminal history. All right, beginning in January and continuing through April, Taylor said Palm Beach police officers dug through the garbage at Epstein's mansion. So there is no way, bro. There is no way cops were digging through the mansion of a rich, wealthy, well-known, powerful guy in Palm Beach without Chief Michael Ryder being aware of this, dude. There's no way, dude. Like, yeah, we're digging through the trash, okay? They found nude photographs. They found directory listings for massages in New York and the United Kingdom, daily calendars, a list titled People That I Want You to Meet, which contain female names, ages, and descriptions of what they do. By the way, guys, in 2001, Virginia Giuffre was like, this was the year that she was on that yacht with Naomi Campbell. Okay? So this is absolutely like prostitution stuff. Okay? Officers compiled a list of all of Epstein's known associates. They conducted drive-by surveillance of his home, recorded the tag numbers of cars parked there. They sought subpoenas from the state attorney's office to investigate calls to and from Epstein's property, though according to Taylor, these returned nothing unusual. Taylor continued to call the students throughout this time, received no answer. The detective then called Palm Beach Atlantic, a private Christian university, relayed the information received by West Palm Beach police. Okay? Campus employees told Taylor 2 of the girls had since moved off campus, but 1 remained. Security officers security officers searched the girls' dorm room in April 2002, found bottles of liquor and a paper with the name of pornographic website, okay, as well as information about some type of adult work that paid $2,200 weekly. Okay, this is a Christian university, guys. What the fuck, bro? Right? Nothing else was found. Redacted is handling all discipline, which included expelling the girl from campus housing. Okay, so then they searched her room and she got expelled, dude. Like, WTF, bro? Okay? Dude, listen to this. They find like things that like are implying prostitution. Then one of the girls who like went to the police, they search her dorm room and they expel her. Dude, I mean, if you're wondering why no one comes forward anymore, right? Like, Jesus. Okay, Taylor and Frick interviewed two girls after the search. Both said Maxwell recruited them for administrative work at 𝗙𝗪𝗈 Way home. Although they felt there was something weird about the people living there, the girls reportedly said they didn't see anything illegal. In a subsequent interview, the third girl said she didn't recall anything illegal happening, though there were nude photographs of women all over. She added that there were women running around the pool area topless and that people were always getting massages. She told Taylor and Frick that the millionaire financier once offered her a massage. Epstein didn't touch her himself, she said. A tech gave the massage. He did, however, tell her to take off her shirt. She told the officers it made her extremely uncomfortable and she had not been back since. Taylor concluded the report by writing that although it appeared unusual activity was occurring from the home at this time, no illegal activity has been reported or detected. But like, bro, dude, you gotta have a suspicion that it was going on. You know? You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. This information will remain as intelligence purposes only until a crime is reported or possibly another student or young female report to us while working at the residence, Taylor wrote. The report indicates it was last updated August 2004. Okay? That is 2.5 years after West Palm Beach police passed along the tip of Maxwell recruiting students and 7 months before the stepmother of a 14-year-old Royal Palm Beach High student told Palm Beach police that Epstein had done stuff to the daughter, right? Launching what was the first investigation. Dude, that's crazy. Okay? That is wild. Okay? So, dude, Palm Beach police resumed their surveillance and trash pulls without informing their chief of the three girls whose complaints predated the 2000 tip, according to Ryder. So Ryder is saying that when this new call came in, these guys investigated it, but they never told him, oh, by the way, a couple years ago, we actually went through this guy's trash and found some evidence. Dude, no. Or the chief didn't ask, is there anything prior? Like, what do we have on this guy? Have we had anything on Epstein before? Dude, this fucking stinks like Trump's asshole, boss. I'm serious, dude. It smells like 100 Trump diapers in here. Seriously. Bro, I'm going to need to open a window. If I fucking just keel over, it's from the smell. Okay, Taylor's name does not appear again in the files documenting the 2005 investigation, but Frick's does. He and fellow detectives interviewed more victims who led to other victims. One told Frick she was 17. Okay, I know you're not comfortable, but I'll pay you if you bring some girls, she recalled him saying after. The younger, the better. Palm Beach police presented the case to Palm Beach County State Attorney's Office in 2006. Though Ryder pushed for multiple felony charges, then State Attorney Barry Krischer presented the case to a grand jury, which is very unusual, rather than charging Epstein himself. Now, guys, you normally don't take SA cases to a grand jury, okay? Because they're victim oriented and so exposing the victims to a grand jury, having victims of SA testify before grand juries like really weird. Okay. Right. His prosecutors presented only a fraction of the evidence and portrayed the girls Epstein abused as prostitutes, which, by the way, guys, if you are under 18, you are never a prostitute. Okay. You are never, there's no such thing as an under 18 prostitute. At that point, you are trafficked. You are being abused. You are like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not allowed to make that choice. You know, give me a break. And then, of course, in 2008, Epstein pled guilty to 2 solicitation charges. And then, you know, it kind of leaves out the fact that 𝗙sze sabotaged that case. The FBI came and got involved. And then, you know, the FBI made it go away. Right? But, dude, that is insane, bro. That is absolutely insane. Okay? Absolutely insane. Dude, I seriously, guys, my mind is fucking blown right now that we stumbled upon this. Dude, we did it live too, right? I mean, dude, isn't that insane? Like, what the fuck is going on, bro? Dude, we literally just stumbled into a major new wrinkle in the Epstein case, like, you know, during a live stream, all beginning with the fact that Sarah Kellen, one of Epstein's senior lieutenants in Palm Beach, they redirected her Wikipedia page. That's how we got here. They redirected it to Vickers. Now, guys, I have a feeling this is going to get even more interesting tomorrow, okay? Because, again, I have information here, okay, that is like we're going to look at, but there is, so Epstein, okay, you ready? If we go and look at the timeline here, okay, Epstein in 2008, he pled guilty. And then by 2009, okay, 2009, he was out of jail. Okay, he was done with his thing. Okay, now we have Elon's emails. Okay, were in anywhere from 2011 to 2015. We have Elon integrating with Epstein and Peter Thiel and all these other guys after the sex crimes. Okay. The shit that Jenny uncovered that we're going to look at tomorrow is that there are payments from Jeffrey Epstein to a like an entity that has to do with Sarah Kellen and Brian Vickers in 2014, okay, which is years after this. And there is some satellite involvement. I have not looked at it yet, but there is a possibility that Ivanka Trump was connected to the company that was managing those payments. So I don't know what that means yet, but there is possible that after this whole thing and after Sarah Kellen, whose Wikipedia page just disappeared, okay, who literally just got like scrubbed from the internet, there's a possibility that she was getting continued payments, her and her husband, Brian Vickers, for years after this, and that Ivanka Trump was somehow connected to that money. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Dude, there is fucking, you know, this shit is nuts, right? Dude. And now, though, the Vickers guy, look at what he did. Look at what he did on Valentine's Day. Can they just release all the files? This is ridiculous. I mean, it is. But now, guys, there's a question of like, of how many files are, how much there are. Like there is some new, like, there is like new information that makes it seem like it's possible that we have only scratched the tip of the iceberg. Right? Yeah, I mean, there's some talk that it's in the terabytes, but look at this, dude. So this is Sarah Kellen's former husband. They're getting a divorce, and now on Valentine's Day, he writes this thing about his new girlfriend, some poem called The Soulmate, that is like, oh my God, I love you so much. You're my soulmate. Like Sarah Kellen is just completely forgotten. Okay, right? I mean, isn't that wild? Like this guy... And look at it, dude. He made it. He turned replies off, bro. Right? Replies off. Huh. Oh, that's interesting. Sarah Kellen's thing gets scrubbed. He's got a new soulmate. We're finding out that this shit was investigated earlier. Now, you ready for this, guys? Okay, you ready? When did Sarah Kellen... I think it was 2000 when she got hired. And okay, so she began working in 2002. Huh. All right. So as a personal assistant, so we don't actually know. We don't know. So yeah, that's interesting because like, here's why I find it interesting. Okay, is thinking, I'm trying to process this in the timeline, okay, because let's think about this as a growing enterprise, okay? So you have Trump and Epstein hanging out, they're besties, and originally what was going on in Trump and Epstein land, let me find a good photograph here for this. Okay, let's find a good backdrop for this. Okay, we're going to find a good Trump Epstein backdrop. All right, there we go. Let's see now. There we go. There's a good backdrop. So there's them in 92. Okay. All right. Let's just, dude. Here, I'm gonna find my own. I don't like this shit. Hold on, I got my own, guys. Give me a second here. And I know the image I'm gonna use. This Sky News shit. Too many fucking bizarro ads. But we're gonna pull. The Kellen Epstein photograph, because this is a good one. Okay, this is the photo. This is them at Zorro Ranch. This is going to be our backdrop here while we intro this, because the think about this as a building criminal enterprise. Okay, because what happens when Epstein finally gets brought down is by then he has years of sort of developing his MO and how this thing operates, okay? Because if you go into the 80s, Epstein was kind of a nobody in the 80s. Today I searched for a while and I couldn't find an address other than that building that he ended up co-owning with his brother, where he would have the girls stay, that building that then Mark Epstein owned after all of this. Okay, so it was hard to find an address for him when he was at Bear Stearns. He did have a company that he ran out of his apartment in the 80s. And this was when he met Trump. And this was when they like met Ghislaine. Okay, I believe it was like late 80s was when Trump was hanging out with Robert Maxwell, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, so then during the 90s, was Trump and Epstein, okay? And they were primarily having parties with modeling girls. And this is when Trump was very close to John Casablancas from Elite Models, and they did the Look of the Year stuff, which is the Look of the Year. Midas Touch has a video kicking around for Look of the Year, which was a modeling contest for teenagers where elite models went and looked for people. And this was this video here, okay? There's a lot of videos here kicking around where these young girls would come out and they would go and try to win modeling contracts, okay? And there was a celebrity panel of people, and one of them is Donald fucking Trump, okay? This is 1991, okay? And this was the thing that happened during the 90s, okay? And this was led by John Casablancas, who is the guy over here who owned the agency, and he had a bunch of celebrity judges, and these girls would come through and they would like walk in and they would be competing to win the Look of the Year. Now, eventually, John Casablancas married one of the Look of the Year winners, okay? And she was underage. He was in his 40s when they got married, okay? So anyway, this was how Trump and Epstein got involved in the girl parties, okay? All right? And they had a whole video of this. All of these girls, many of them were very young, okay? They were very young, the girls competing for this, okay? So now what is in the 90s, this was how Trump and Epstein hung out with women, was modeling agency things. Trump had the party at Mar-a-Lago with him and Giuffre and like 50 models, blah, blah, blah. It was all connected to the modeling industry. And by the end of the 90s, okay, Trump here had his own modeling agency. Okay, so now the reason why I'm bringing this up is I want to discuss this 2001 investigation. Okay, and here's why. Okay, this investigation here in Palm Beach, 2001, because according to this, they were recruiting girls to answer the phones, okay, right? And there was some list of girls, so it looked like Epstein was running. There were guys, I don't know if they were model searchers, if he had his modeling agency at that time. MC2 was Jean-Luc Brunel. So the guys calling, bringing girls, maybe they were guys recruiting models and bringing them to the house. And Ghislaine was out there recruiting girls to answer the phones. But they weren't, the girls Ghislaine were recruiting were not doing the massages. Okay, then he gets investigated. They find this shit. They don't do anything, but already there's topless girls running around the house. This is probably when the Michael Wolff photos were taken of Donald Trump. But then it seems like he refined it. Okay, those Christian girls from the university that answered phones never came back. And eventually he found girls to find girls. So now there's nobody answering the phones anymore. There's just girls out there finding girls. Ghislaine's not even finding girls. There's girls finding the girls and bringing girls. And so it seems like he evolved it sort of beyond what it was. And then it became this like multi-layered sort of operation, right? And that's pretty wild when you think about it, that it went from the Look of the Year, an elite modeling agency, and they're being sort of sidewise, they're like sideliners to the modeling industry. And those modeling girls had to show up at parties. When there was a party, those girls, those models had to show up. And they did things like walk around with no underwear on while people like peeked them. They were considered party favors. It was part of the job when you were trying to make it as a model. I mean, it was pretty dirty. Then by the end of the 90s, Trump has a modeling agency. And then in the early 2000s, Epstein has a modeling agency. So then they had their own agencies. And then eventually there is like girls answering phones at 𝗙𝗍𝗄𝗽, and men are delivering girls. And they're like, I don't know, Epstein, it seemed like he was like selling them out to people or something. And then there's teenage girls finding other teenage girls. and it's becoming this like pyramid scheme after that. But it appeared like there was quite a progression. Now, we don't know if Sarah Kellen was working for Epstein during that first investigation. We don't know. We have no idea. I mean, we know she was there by 2002. And it did say in this that the investigation, when let's see where it says here, through January 2002, it continued into April 2002. They dug through the garbage in April 2002, and they continued like building this case. And then they continued updating it through August 2004. So they occasionally went back and updated that original case even before the second thing. So Sarah Kellen was definitely working here during this, at least at the end. I don't know if she was there in the beginning, but she was definitely there in the end. Dude, that's wild, man. That is some wild, wild stuff, guys. Bro, I don't know. My mind's a little bit blown. My mind's a little bit blown, too, that all of this sort of happened a couple days ago. And simultaneously, while this is going on, is like right around the time that Elon has had this continued fight with Reid Hoffman. So Elon is making a huge deal about Reid Hoffman, and you know, it just makes me wonder, because none of this shit was dominant on Twitter. Okay, like the last 3 days, the only shit I've seen on Twitter has been Reid Hoffman, and Elon has been exonerated, and Trump running around saying I had nothing to do with Epstein. And yet underneath that, there's like a whole bunch of like shit going on, like behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that shit's pretty wild, isn't it? That like, you know, it makes me wonder if they knew, right? Did Elon know the Palm Beach Post article was coming out? Like, did this even get any, did it get any notoriety? I'm even curious if this even got posted on Twitter. Let's go to Palm Beach Post. Let's go see if they posted this. Do they not have a Twitter account? No, they definitely have a Twitter account. Here, let's search. So they have something about Wasserman, right? Did you guys hear about this? This is relevant too. 𝗙𝗍𝗏, he has a talent agency, and everybody's been quitting. Like Chappell Rowan, a whole bunch of other people were Wasserman's agency. They're all bailing. Okay. Oh, here it is. So look at this, guys. Epstein investigation began years earlier than previously believed. Look at it. It got 683 views, guys. What the fuck, dude? Right? I mean, they don't get a lot of, like, nobody's really seeing their shit. They don't have a dedicated, like, social media person, but not a single quote tweet. Nobody even tweeted this shit. Isn't that wild? Oops, that's the wrong one. No, 2 quote tweets. Let's see who quote tweeted it. Oh, so it was private accounts. That's insane, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna go make a video about this right now. Okay? This is crazy. All right, that they, right, that the Trump calling the Palm Beach police chief sort of spread, but we're not seeing. I'm not seeing anything about this. Okay, there's one person here that posted a little bit of it. First investigation 2001, trash pulls. So there's one person here that I see posting, but not really anyone major. Like, this has been under the radar, okay? It looks like this has gone under the radar. It's about to be on the radar, all right? We're going to lay low. We're going to lay low tonight, all right, guys? Lay low. Everybody keep mum. Dude, I'm going to drop this tomorrow in a big way. So this is going to be my little scoop. I'm scooping this. So everybody just keep it quiet until fucking 8 a.m. Okay? Cause I am scooping this, guys. This is a big one. This is significant though, because it impeaches Michael Reiter, the police chief, okay, who supposedly is the guy vouching for Trump having called, okay? It sets a timeline of the fact that while Virginia Giuffre was being trafficked in the early stages, okay, there already had some suspicion that there was a prostitution ring. There's corroboration of the topless girls out in the back by the pool from some girls from a Christian university. So these are not like druggies that are making shit up, okay? There's a lot of like cross corroboration here with shit that Michael Wolff has talked about, okay? And you know, this is pretty major. And I imagine it's falling by the wayside because of other really relevant shit. Like the guy in Norway being arrested and, you know, the FBI, you know, announcing the DOJ saying, hey, we're done putting this shit out. I mean, there's a lot going on. But guys, let me just tell you that there are going to be like 1,000 of these. Okay? There are going to be 1,000 of these fucking revelations, guys. Like literally, there are just going to be so many. Right? There are going to be so many of these. Like it is, I mean, I guarantee you right now, the data sets 9 through 12, nobody's even seen all that shit yet. Okay? You know what I mean? Nobody's even seen all that because what's happening right now, okay? What is sort of happening right now is that most people are specific searching. Okay, this is the first thing that's happening is anybody that's reporting on certain things, they're going to search for like Elon. They're going to search for Bill Clinton. They're going to search for Peter Thiel, and they're going to start searching and scooping on these particular figures. But like I said, the thing that Jenny discovered yesterday about the payments and Sarah Kellen and Brian Vickers, and now Sarah Kellen's page is gone. What we look at tomorrow could be super significant. But yeah, the fact that they're freaking out is a good sign, okay? That is how we know that people are freaking out. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's how we know. People are absolutely freaking out. They are. You know, they are flipping the fuck out. Elon and Reid Hoffman, you have Trump going into like, I've been exonerated mode after all of that right wing, you know, campaign of like him calling the cops. But I think this tonight is really, really important because the fact that we have now caught the Palm Beach police chief, Michael Ryder, in what appears to be a fairly significant lie, because he expects us to believe that they spent months going through the trash of one of the wealthiest like people in Palm Beach, and he never knew about it, and nobody even mentioned it to him when that same guy like came under suspicion with the teenage girls, and that Michael Ryder never looked to see if he had previously been under suspicion. Like, really? If I'm the police chief of a fucking case that involves this huge name and it's getting weird, I'm going to look and see, like, what do we have on Epstein? Yeah, there's no way. He's definitely lied. At the very least, he lied about not knowing about it when they went back and looked at it, you know, had the second case. Like, there's no way, dude. There's no way, dude. No way. So that means like Trump and his little exoneration, to go back to our very first video, right? Remember this? Here's where we started.
So Hillary Clinton said in an interview today that she and her husband are getting pulled into the Epstein matter to divert attention from you, and that your administration has something to hide. What's your response to that?
I have nothing to hide. I've been exonerated. I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. They went in hoping that they'd find it and found just the opposite. I've been totally exonerated. In fact, Jeffrey Epstein was fighting that I don't get elected.
Dude, he was exonerated by who? By Michael Ryder. Yeah. No, Trumpy, you weren't. Guess what, dude? Your exoneration! Oh, Trumpy! Oh, my exoneration just went in my diaper. Dude, he just smoking jerky. Oh, shit, bro. Yeah. Dude, give me a fucking break, dude. This whole case is Donald Trump, man. He's going down. I don't fucking care, boss. I don't care. All right, but I'm going to go, though. Dude, time to go, baby. I gotta go work. I gotta go get some coffee and some fucking food. I slept late. I literally slept till like 9:33. Dude, 9 iron indeed, boss. Like, oh! Dude, you ready? Let's go. Oh shit. Dude, my sleep schedule, I'm doing the Leonardo da Vinci sleep schedule right now. I am. Where like I edit videos and then I sleep from like, 5 to 7 a.m. And then I get up and edit videos and then I take an afternoon nap and then I go to sleep again at like 6 p.m. Dude, it is like I'm sleeping in like 3 spurts because like I'm trying to cover the news day. And you gotta like, I gotta have videos ready for the morning, but I also have to be on like in the news cycle in the morning and the afternoon and the evening. So I can't really take a fucking 8-hour sleep. Like everybody else sleeps at night. And that's the one place where I have an advantage of getting shit done, Dude, let's go. Let's go, baby. TikTok, baby. Oh. Let's get it. Yo. Yo. All right. You sleep in segments during this Trump terroristic time? Dude, I mean, there are a lot of people losing sleep now, guys. There are. It is effed up, boss. Effed up. All right, you guys ready? You guys ready for some dance? I'm ready for some dance. little bit of deja vu. Yeah, no, tonight was good. Tonight was definitely like some crazy shit, boss. I'm serious. Tonight was some pretty outrageous, like, I mean, what I liked about tonight is, like, I came in just wanting to talk a little bit about Epstein, and then it feels like we found like a whole bunch of ground, you know? And that Sarah Kellen stuff is crazy because, guys, I've been spending a lot of time looking at Sarah Kellen. She is integral to this thing. And she is like integral. She is like Ghislaine Maxwell #2, dude. And on so many flights, dude, nearly, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and what's crazy is when you looked at that flight count, how you had Giuffre on 1,000 flights, Ghislaine on 850, Sarah Kellen on 350. But like Giuffre's flights, a bunch of them happened before he knew Sarah Kellen. So it's almost like once Sarah Kellen was around, she was like on every flight, man. You know what I mean? I mean, she was like just always there, dude. She was always part of this deal. Yeah, let's go. All right, you ready? You ready? We dancing? We're twerking? Woo! Come on. Come on. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. You like the whole shirt? Yeah, no, it's a good one. It's a good one. All right, here we go. Time for a little deja vu, people. Let's get it. Oh, come on. the energy up.
Nothing is what I say. I feel far away. Nothing is what
Dude, that was a blast, bro. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys. What a funky adventure we got, huh? All right, you gotta take care of your heads. We got a long way to go. We got a lot of years ahead of us, guys. A lot of fucking Epstein nation, right? We're gonna be in Epsteinistan for a long time, but I will see you guys tomorrow. Big love, baby. Thank you. Good night.
Hey, I just wanna change the world. I just want the perfect girl. I don't wanna hang around, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure together. Everyone's waiting, anticipating. I will never be alone again. I'm immune to the things they said. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant truth. I know that you will understand, because I finally found myself. My heart's unbreaking. You're radiant. Hey, I just wanna change the world, but I'm not gonna wait my turn. I don't ever want to come down, I'd rather be found. It gets better, I wonder, my pleasure